Liberty.
Welcome to ESPN Bases Loaded, presented by Capital One.
Been smiling all morning like a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. Here we are, bases loaded.
Let's go.
Back again. Thanks for hanging with us. All right, 16 regional sites, 10 games going on right now. The road to Omaha officially underway. What's the general theme here on day one?
Yeah, day one, there's so much hype coming into this and so much anxiety and energy, maybe even speaking about myself. Who can be themselves the quickest? Who can just kind of get that flushed out of their system and just play baseball?
All right. Mike Rooney, Matt Schick, we're here with you all weekend long here. There has been a lot of action so far. Let's update you on some scores. Again, 10 games going on right now. These are double elimination, 4-team regionals, 16 regional sites. The winner of these double elimination regionals advance to a best 2 out of 3 super regional round. We are monitoring as many games as we can right now. And here are some scores. Auburn, couple runs in the first. How about Stephen Williams with a 3-run bomb? That game was tied at 4. Auburn says we're not tied anymore. They've got an 8-2 lead. Florida State, Mike Martin. How about the home run parade that they're putting on there, Mike?
If they're going to do something, it's going to be offensive. Drew Mendoza, their star junior, with 2 home runs. Drew Parrish, their ace, did not pitch great, but Florida State can score in bunches.
Tim Becker has 2 2-run home runs as well. He didn't have any home runs on the season coming into today. Nebraska. First 5 batters there in the third. They had 4 singles and a walk, scored 4 in the third to take that lead, 5-4. That game being played in Oklahoma City. Mississippi State and Southern tied it 2, but some drama there with the Bulldogs. JT Ginn had to be taken out in the 4th inning.
Yeah, star freshman was a first-round pick out of high school and chose to come to campus. We hope he's okay, but only through 3 innings. That will be a factor for Mississippi State.
Connor Davis has just hit a solo shot for Auburn. That score will change to 9-2. Campbell, they put up a 4 spot in the first. Kobe Collins with a 2-run shot. NC State has battled back. Johnny Butler with a solo home run. It's 5-4. Southern Miss and Arizona State. The Eagles going with a freshman today.
Gabe Shepard and Arizona State, we know about their offense, led the country in home runs with 92. Gabe Shepard, the true freshman for Southern Miss, their best guy down the stretch, and he's strutting around the mound. He's kind of digging himself today. I like it.
Indiana State, a 2-run double from Jake Meads. They got a 4-1 lead on McNeese as well. And again, the big deal about today is this.
All right.
Okay? This is the quad box, and we're not wasting any time getting to it. This is just less than 1/2 of the games that we have going on right now. If we had an octo box, we would use it religiously. We're still working on that technology. But right now, Mississippi State, the number 6 national seed, trailing now to Southern by a count of 3-2. 2 runs now for Southern here in the inning, and that pitching issue cannot be more greatly stated.
Yeah, Mississippi State's already a little shy in their rotation. That's really one of their weaknesses. They haven't been great in game 3s, and Ginn going. Here's the other thing. Ginn is such a special player. You would imagine, Matt, it's a little bit of a shot to Mississippi State as a team as well.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Brandon Smith came in relief of Ginn, who left the mound with a trainer. After his warm-up pitches to begin the 4th, they're taking on Southern. The Jaguars were the champs out of the SWAC. Arizona State, Southern Miss underway. Campbell and NC State about to come back from a commercial break. Mike Martin in his final season as head coach of Florida State. That's a 10-5 lead there. But bases loaded on bases loaded. Let's go to Starkville and listen in.
1st and 3rd, respectively, for the Bulldogs. Smith wants a ground ball in the worst way. 1-2.
And that's why they're in on the corners, because they know he's going to be tough to double up. So you bring in your corner guys. Let's get the guy out at home first, because if we're going to try to double off him from the left side, forget it. They're going to score a run. We're just going to get the force out.
Packed house here in Starkville. And the 1-2. Winner of Miami and Central Michigan awaits the winner of this game this afternoon. A lot of eyebrows raise on Selection Monday when Mississippi State checked in as the number 6 national seed. A lot of projections had the Bulldogs as high as 4.
Now this is the 31st pitch.
Williams, fly ball to deep right. As Hatcher goes back, he'll make the catch. Deep enough to score a run. That'll make it 4-2 Southern. And Williams gets the job done with a sac fly.
And Hatcher brought that back in the ballpark.
When the wind was pushing it out, he just reached up right near that top of
Hatcher's
the wall.
going to go back here. This is a possible grand slam. Keeps it from going out. I don't know if that would have carried, but it would have been close. Nice play in the outfield and a nice piece of hitting behind in the count.
So Johnson scores. Hudson advances to third. And here comes another pitching change as Chris Lemonis trots out of the Mississippi State dugout. Jared Leibelt will be the new pitcher, and we spoke with him extensively yesterday. An impressive young man, Nick.
Yeah, he's going to have a job on his hand right here. He's got to stop the bleeding and then take it beyond.
All right, let's zip on over to Nashville. Indiana State. The Sycamores with the champs out of the Missouri Valley Conference. And they're taking on McNeese State, or McNeese. McNeese Cowboys, the champs out of the Southland Conference. Nate Fisbeck at the plate. He's got 12 home runs on the year, some tying run at the plate here. We're in the 5th.
And his agent was in the stands, and the agent went, as you might imagine, went a little crazy about why is he even out here? He's about to go make millions in the NBA. And anyway, that was it for Larry Bird's Indiana State baseball career. But he did get one game in and went 1 for 2 with a couple of RBIs.
Finished his career hitting 500. Not many people can say that. What an athlete.
Can you imagine the silence in the stadium after that collision?
That was the coach's worst nightmare right there. Get him hurt right at the end. Everybody knows who he is. About to be an NBA star. And that happens.
2-2 on Nate Fisbeck.
You wonder why he didn't pull a Michael Jordan, try to get into minor league ball after he finished his NBA career.
I'm sure he had a comment or two about that to Michael. That ball's hit hard to center field off the bat of Fisbeck. It's still going off the wall. Selman slow to get up. The ball scooped up by the right fielder Gonzalez. That'll get 1 run in. 2 runs will score on the triple off the bat of Nate Fisbeck.
Talked about Nate Fisbeck in the open with 12 homers, leads the team. A lot of pop out of the 2-hole, and a middle infielder hits this ball a ton out to right field. Fastball just center cut and a little low and in, and Fisbeck crushes that ball into the wind tunnel out in right field. Nice read by Harden from first base. He was right on Duhan's tail as both runs score, and McNeese crawls back into this with 2 more runs.
Second triple this year for Fisbeck. Fagan out there in center field. Looks to be okay as this one shot out to right, scooped up there by Enriquez. And Enriquez will get it back in quickly, but not in time as a sacrifice fly off the bat of Clayton Raspberry.
Nice job by Raspberry jumping on the first fastball he sees. Doesn't want to get deep in the count. Strike.
All right, let's go to Starkville now, where Southern has taken a 4-2 lead here and still runners on the corners. How much concern do you have, Mike Rooney, if you are a Bulldog fan?
Yeah, new head coach in Chris Lemonis, and you got a new stadium that's jammed up and electric, and you can put a lot of pressure on yourselves in a situation like this.
Most hits in the nation.
Right there with Jake Mangum. This one down the right field line, slicing into foul territory.
You're out quick, 0-2. Try to get him to maybe chase a slider here.
What were you and Leibelt talking about yesterday? Pokemon?
Yeah, he completed the Pokedex, which means I think there's 800 or plus, and he's found all of them. And Jake Mangum said, yeah, he's not making this up. He really did.
That's incredible. Now, kids these days. The 0-2. High and away with a fastball.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that right there, because I wouldn't think Kobe Taylor would be stealing second base with a guy like Laporte at the plate.
Back of the box for Laporte.
There's that slider.
Foul tipped into the mitt. Skelton, first strikeout for Leibelt, and Mississippi State escapes, but not before 3.
All right, let's take our first look at Louisville right now. The winner of this regional will take on the winner of the Greenville regional, featuring the number 10 national seed in East Carolina. Here it's Indiana, Big Ten regular season champs, facing Illinois State, the Redbirds, getting the at-large. And 2 on now in the top of the second. Illinois State trying to tie this one up.
Against a really tough schedule, so he has been reliable. It's always nice for a coaching staff to know you're sending a guy out there on Friday night that's going to pitch you deep in the ball game. You're not going to get deep into your bullpen on the first game of the series, because that can really compromise you the rest of the way.
He was, of course, the Friday night starter in that series at Michigan, the big series victory over the Wolverines, which helped propel them to the Big Ten title. He won his start. Back up the middle. This one is through, base hit, and the first run is in for Illinois State. The 9-man in the order. Aiden Huggins delivers for the Redbirds, and it's 2-1.
Redbirds coming out really swinging the bat well. Paulie Milto not getting the depth on that sinker that he's accustomed to, and Aiden Huggins smoking
Illinois
right
State
back up
talked about how relaxed they were coming into
hits
today against Louisville, showing a little bit that. We're also seeing a replay here, a solo home run for Southern Miss.
Storm Cooper, this Baton Rouge regional, Matt, might be the most entertaining one. Very offensive clubs all the way around. You got to give the committee a lot of credit for sending Stony Brook to LSU after they won a super regional there in 2012. Got to like the sense of humor from that. Yeah. So that'll be a fun one.
Arizona State, 92 home runs, leading all of Division I coming into today.
Yeah, this was a
lot of home runs here on your picture. Indiana, 90 home runs on the season, second in Division I behind Arizona State.
Sun Devils, Baton Rouge will not be a dry heat, Matt. I don't think they'll. What's this humidity thing?
I don't know if we can spell that. I've never heard of it here in Baton Rouge.
This is a key for Arizona State. They have to win this game. Alec Marsh is really their one dependable pitcher. Offense not been a problem for Arizona State, but certainly pitching has been. And Alec Marsh, they have to win his start.
Milto comes set the 1-0, popped up, foul ground. And Feynman has his mask in his hand, and he hangs with it and makes a terrific catch. How about that veteran play?
That's a great catch, and we're going to show you an even better one in just a bit, which happened in Oklahoma City, also in foul territory. The Sun, the good thing about the Sun is we don't have any rain delays right now. NC State, they have a little bit of a weather delay. The bad news about the Sun is it can create some adventures.
Yeah, and I promise you've never seen a catch like this in your life. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll show that to you. UConn and Nebraska, by the way, the Huskers with a 5-4 lead on UConn in the top of the fifth.
Maybe that's the reason he held on to the mask. He didn't know exactly which way that ball was going to twist, and he didn't want to step on it.
Usually you see him just launch it.
Yeah.
But, hey, if you catch it, I don't care what you do, right?
The out was made. That was a big one. 2 down here for Illinois State now in the second, with Derek Parola up for the second time. He had a bunt single back in the first. Illinois State already with 1 in this inning, looking for more, looking to tie it up. They've got Butler at second base. Swung on and missed, 1-1.
Right on right changeup right there is Paulie Milto looking to get out of this jam and keeping the lead intact. And if you're an Illinois State player, that's something to put in your memory bank. He will throw a changeup right on right. You don't see a ton of pitchers do that.
1-1 to Parola. Outside, 2-1. The Redbirds lost 7 straight at the end of March. And they're 21-11 since. Soft liner into right center. It's going to get down for a hit. On his way home is Butler. They're going to throw it to third. In there sliding is Huggins. And standing at second is Perola with another run batted in for Illinois State. We're tied at 2.
How about that? Wow, and an inning that started with a leadoff double and a base running mistake. Perola makes him pay, kind of punching that ball into right center field. Paulie Milto getting a little more run than sink on that two-seam fastball. And fortunately, if you're an Illinois State fan, that one was hit into the perfect part of the ballpark. That Bermuda triangle out there in right center field. Kind to the Redbird as they now tie this one up.
4 hits this inning for Illinois State. And this is not a good sign for Indiana. If Milto gets into trouble early, because depth in the bullpen is not a strength for the Hoosiers.
No. That's a good point. Again, they don't have a lot of history with him not pitching deep into the game. He's gone into the 6th every start.
Yeah.
And every other one than that, he's thrown 6 full. So he's just made 1 start. That was at Illinois, where he threw 5 1/3. Every other start, he's been 6+, which is a really remarkable stat. I tell you what, it's pretty shaky here early.
The 0-2 to Libman. It's off the plate, 1-2. Libman struck out looking his first time up against Milto. The 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, one thing you can see early on with this Illinois State club is they get a bunch of kids who know how to hit. I mean, they're working at bats. You can tell they know the strike zone and really giving Milto all he can handle here, top to bottom in this order.
Already 6 hits in this game for the Redbirds.
Wallner 0 for 1 today, was hit by a pitch. Low and inside for ball 1.
All right, going full here to Baton Rouge. Southern Miss and Arizona State tied at 1 here in the top of the 5th. Nebraska with a 6-4 lead on UConn. McNeese and Indiana State tied at 4. And Florida State with a 10-7 lead on Florida Atlantic. Continue to keep you updated. North Carolina 1-0 lead on UNC. Wilmington in the top of the 2nd. Couple of Seahawks on base for UNCW.
Right-hander.
Well, a lot going on right now. I mean, 3rd time through the lineup. Now the pitcher Marsh doesn't have quite the advantage. We've seen the breaking balls and the fastballs. As Southern Miss, they're starting to make some adjustments. Plus, don't forget the heat. The heat index on the field is through the roof right now, and Marsh's stuff just not quite as sharp here in the 5th as he was the first 4 innings.
And it's obvious he's not going to go deep into this game his season long.
I want to show you this catch. You won't see another one like it ever as you watch baseball. 5-4 here. Watch third baseman David Langer. I got it. I can't see it. Anthony Prado's got it. Look at him dive in there.
Unbelievable.
Avoid Langer.
He came from shortstop, by the way. That's not close to foul grounds.
I mean, he could have crashed right into him, caught it against his back. That was fantastic. See that on Sports Center tonight. Top 5 back in Baton Rouge.
One of the all-time home run king for Southern Miss, did so in 3 seasons. 56 bombs in his career. Scouts love him. He had a great cape. Played a summer ball in Cape Cod League.
Ever since stepping on campus at Southern Miss his freshman year, he has been able to flat out hit. Not just hit for power, he's hit for average as well.
Nice
Nice pitch there by Alec Marsh.
How about that? 3 off-speed pitches in a row. You get back-to-back changeups and the overhand breaking ball. So he's really slowed the bat down. And for me now, the pitch is a fastball right on the inside corner if he can get it there. Because remember, he got him the first time. First time up, Marsh went right inside and jammed Wallner with a weak ground ball.
And again, no fastball. So now at 3-2, is there any chance he brings the gas?
Yeah, I would think so. Just because percentages are in your favor as far as you've shown him so many off-speed pitches 4 in a row. But right now you got to throw the pitch you have the most confidence in to throw it for a strike.
Montenegro draws some attention over at second. Hunter Slater is at first. Southern Miss 1 run in on the homer by Cooper. 2 on, 1 out. And one of the best home run hitters in all of college baseball, Matt Wallner at the plate, the pride of Forest Lake, Minnesota. Tell you, to watch these two teams in batting practice is a lot of fun between Wallner, Torkelson, and Bishop.
Yeah, they put on the show. I'm talking about it. It was light tower power.
Stings one to right, long run, and can't make the catch. Aldretti missed it on the dive. Runner from third coming around. Montenegro will touch home. Over to third is Slater, and Southern Miss has its first lead of the day.
Well, Wallner is just too good. And he saw so many off-speed pitches, and finally he gets another breaking ball, a 3-2 breaking ball. The ball kind of sitting up in the zone, and the big fella just leans back on one and hits a rocket. Aldretti dives but can't come up with it. You knew at that point Southern Miss would push across another run.
This has been a stressful inning for Alec Marsh. He's had 6 full counts that he's had to work through today, and 5 times out of the 6th a Southern Miss batter has reached in that scenario. Now the bullpen is really hot for Arizona State. 98 pitches under the belt of Marsh. 4th base runner of the inning is Wallner. And here is Bowen. Bowen is 0 for 2. Alec Marsh craving a ground ball for a double play here if they can get one. Ground ball foul. This inning has been so long that Gabe Shepard is out there to see Corrigan and Burzell. Burzell is the guy, you talk to Arizona State folks, and he might be their best pure stuff for a closer. He's a freshman.
Yeah, he is a hard throw, but mostly all fastballs what we hear from him. Not a whole lot of off-speed pitches. Certainly a guy that can get you out of a jam with a strikeout or 2, and there's Shepard.
You got to keep warm, right?
Well, all you got to do is step out of the dugout to keep warm in the heat today.
Off the plate outside.
It is certainly that kind of day in Baton Rouge today. Temperatures 94 today, expected to get up to 96 come Sunday and Monday. So summer is finally here in Baton Rouge.
Swing and a miss. Bowen goes down for the 2nd out of the inning.
Boy, that is a huge strikeout right there again. Runner just 90 feet away. You don't need a base hit to score him. You just want to put something in play, preferably a fly ball for a sacrifice fly. But Marsh bounces back with a huge strikeout. He can somehow navigate through this and only give up 2 runs after what was a leadoff home run. Runners on first and second and nobody out. It's going to be a pretty good inning for him if he can get out of this.
It's the 7th strikeout for Marsh, who at times has looked dominating. But he's had.
All right, that's the Baton Rouge Regional. We're going to go $3 on you here. Top right, things getting a little interesting here in Atlanta. Auburn turning to the bullpen.
Yeah, and Auburn, that's not a strength. I think they're an interesting team because they're starting to get healthy. Tanner Burns is going to throw. Jack Owen did throw today, but it is a very young bullpen outside of Cody Greenhill. So for Auburn, they need to stay on schedule. The losers bracket will not treat them well.
Owen went 3 2/3, gave up 2 earned runs, 6 hits, struck out 4. Anderson got rocked in 2 2/3, giving up 3 runs. Another run going to score for the Golden Eagles. 3-1 lead. That's a dangerous team in Baton Rouge.
With another run on a wild pitch.
And then UConn and Nebraska. 6-4 lead for the Huskers.
Yeah, the consummate rock fight there in Nebraska and UConn. One of these days, UConn is going to Omaha, a team that's been to regional so many times under Jim Penders and been to a super regional. It is a matter of time before they get to the promised land.
For the first couple of innings, it looked like they would take a lead late to this game.
UConn, their 3rd appearance in the last 4 years. Nebraska, their 4th in the last 6.
Back with 5 unanswered.
Well, both
and
these
now they're
teams
going
are going to be in their bullpen
at
some
inning
point.
ends there. We're in the middle of the 7th. Auburn's going to have that 4-run lead.
Ready to go.
Let's go to Oklahoma City now. Tying run on first in the 5th.
Better at 71.
Fedko through the hole on the left side. UConn responds, and it's a 1-run game.
Made a mistake upstairs this time. Aggressive, yes, as a pitcher, but you got to keep the ball down. And he just elevates this ball again. Once this ball tried to go in, but it was up at the letters, missed his spot. Fedko made him pay for it.
That's going to lead to a visit as Nebraska with activity.
Well, this is
Robbie Palkert warming up, and Palkert is the guy. We talked to Erstad about this. Who is the guy that you bring in a high leverage situation when you need to get out of it? And Palkert is that guy.
Yeah, and you're going to give him a time. This is an opportunity to give your starting pitcher a rest. And go over right here, try to figure out what he can do to try to keep in the game. But the other part of that is allow the guy in the bullpen to get loose. Now, it is an 80-plus degree day here.
I'll give you this update in Nashville. Tied at 4. Not anymore. It's Dane Tofflin with a 2-run shot.
Well, both of these offenses better be going because Vandy is good for 10 runs a game easy.
Yeah, the number 2 national seed coming up later on tonight against Ohio State. 6-5. Huskers clinging to that 1-run lead. This has been a back-and-forth affair.
Scored a run to make it a 6-5 game. And a first pitch strike to Paul Gazzo. Outside for ball 1. Nate Fisher, 5th-year senior, battling. Pitch 75 on its way. Trying to hold on to this 1-run lead. Back-to-back balls.
All right, show you what's going on in Illinois State and Indiana. That is a fly ball to center. See if the runner tags there. 1 out. He does.
Fisher
Runners
has
on
not
the
walked
corners
a batter today.
now in the top of the 3rd.
Is that his
It's such an interesting day where you think, okay, some teams, some coaches decide, you know what, I'm going to throw my number 2 instead of my number 1 and save my ace for Saturday, assuming we win. If you lose, the climb becomes almost insurmountable.
Yeah, I'm a believer. The expression here is pitching off, flipping your 1 and your 2. To me, there's a couple thoughts, Matty. One is there's no ribbons for finishing 2nd in a regional. You either advance to supers or you don't. And I love maneuvering your rotation to give yourself the best percentage chance to do that.
Showing up and showing out.
Well, that's a big-time play. Saves a run right there. Keeps Fisher in the game.
Wellenbach with a very nice play there at short.
Nebraska lead, because this game would have been tied.
Nebraska, fascinating team. They've got a big senior class, and their most talented class is a bunch of freshmen, Schwellenbach being one of those kids.
Great defensive play.
Nebraska had some big series wins through the course of the season. They won a series over Baylor, won a series over Arizona State.
As the fifth-year senior,
that Arizona State series late in the year really gave him some momentum going into that Big Ten tournament. So that inning, still 2 outs and a run scores.
And his team holding a 1-run lead.
That's in Louisville, so Illinois State with the lead pitching change coming up in Oklahoma City. So let's go to Louisville full here.
I got to give Joe Butler a lot of credit. Watch him break and then put on the brakes. Wise decision by him. Walker fields and throws a strike, but good situational baseball there by the Redbirds, not only taking the extra base on the fly ball, but then not running into an out there by Butler.
And now this is Jack Butler at the plate, the sophomore from Downs, Illinois. No relation to Joe Butler, but apparently their dads were at the same college at the same time. Illinois Wesleyan, one day at a time, back in the day in Bloomington, Illinois. So it's just a coincidence.
2 dads, both named Butler, at Illinois Wesleyan. Both sons ended up playing Division I baseball
at Illinois
State.
State. Yes, that's right.
And they went Jack and Joe. That's a good story.
Here's Joe out at second. Jack trying to drive him in. Soft liner into right, and it's over the glove of Ashley. Trying to score from second is Joe Butler, and Jack Butler makes it 4-2.
And credit Joe Butler for changing his mind the play before and not running into an out at third base because he's at second. Jack Butler does a really nice job here, just kind of staying on this ball and dumping it into right field. A changeup running away from him. He's able to dump it into right. Joe Butler comes around to score, and this has been an offensive clinic to this point by the Redbirds.
3 more hits this inning, 2 more runs, and Illinois State enjoying a 2-run lead now as Aiden Huggins, who had an RBI single last inning, is up for the second time.
And the Hoosiers still don't have anybody in the bullpen. I will say there is precedent for this kind of outing from Milto. He had a game against Minnesota where he threw 7 innings, gave up 12 hits, and they left him out there for 7 earned runs. So, you know, I think he's keeping the bigger picture in mind. He knows that they're trying to settle in to play a lot of baseball this weekend. By the same token, you don't want to find yourself down a big number here early.
And now Justin Parker, the pitching coach, is coming out. It has been batting practice for Illinois State. Against.
All right, Robbie Palkert is now in for Nebraska on the mound. Here's Fedko.
Winkle on third, Gazzo on first. And a comeback strike, we're even. Nebraska had scored 5 unanswered until Kyler's brother Christian took a single to left to make it a 1-run game. Up the middle and into the mitt of Palkert. That's what this man does. Get into a sticky situation, call an old 40.
All right, Nebraska with that 6-5 lead. NC State and Campbell. NC State and Campbell, that's in the bottom of the 8th. Still in a weather delay. The Camels, the 5-4 lead. Southern Miss continues to put it on Arizona State. That's a 4 spot in the 5th. Go to Baton Rouge. Storm Cooper already with a solo home run, looking to blow this one wide open here in the 5th against Arizona State.
It's a fastball. It's bounced up the middle. Is it going to be an infield hit? Yes. And coming around and scoring. 2 runs on the play. Southern Miss with heads-up base running. And it's a 7-run inning.
All right, we're going to Louisville, Indiana, and Illinois State. The Redbirds
should get Indiana out of the inning. And it does, but 2 more runs scored. Illinois State, double-digit hits already in this game. It's 4.
out of Missouri Valley Conference. Baton Rouge 7-1 up on Arizona State, and now
here
a conversation.
Well, Torkelson, the first
he
base
did look out.
State motioned right away to the bench and hey, go take a look at that one. I think we got him.
And again, they can look.
This will tell the tale right here. Just an outstanding play
His
by
replay.
Williams. Does he get it over
He did look out.
It's a good stretch by
with the naked eye.
First base and
safe. Yeah, they can't review that. They can't overturn that.
And that would make Storm Cooper 3 for 3 today.
And
this is a problem.
I meant to say he looked out.
This is a problem for Arizona State now. They do not have pitching depth. Alec Marsh, who's their guy, safe.
Well, that's the great thing about
just like we said, he's safe.
We knew it right when it happened.
If you didn't have a great year, you know what? You get to hit the
Arizona
reset
State
button.
started the year 21 straight dubs, and
right
now in a big hole, 7-1.
The only thing they
the
know
top
right now
of
is the
the
young man is
fifth.
3 for 3 with
All
a
right, let's go to
home run.
Starkville now, where Mississippi State trails 4-2, and this is a big moment for Mississippi State.
Allen at second, Foscue at first. The infield for Southern at double play depth. Wind blowing out towards right field, and a first pitch strike. Hansel's done a nice job out of the bullpen when Bohannon struggled earlier today.
Fastball 83 to 86. But he's got to hit his spots. He can't throw that directly down the middle. Not the rest of this at bat.
The 0-1. Bulldogs scored back in the first inning here at Duty Noble Field in Starkville, Mississippi. Southern tied it up in the third. A rebound run for Mississippi State made it 2-1 before the Jags exploded for 3 in the top of the fourth inning. Here we are at 4-2. Nick Belmonte, Roy Philpott, the winner of this one, gets the winner of Central Michigan, Miami. That game coming up later tonight.
And that counts as a trip to the mound right there. Umpire holding up 2 fingers. And the Chippewa fans.
Long drive down from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, right?
Long. You got to find a better word than long.
Taxing. 2-1.
Arduous. Use that word.
Vocabulary a bit more complex. Being put on the spot.
I've been watching that spelling bee. That's the problem.
It was an 8-way tie for the championship last night. This one ripped into left field for a base hit. They'll wave Allen around third. The throw comes in late. It's 4-3.
Big hit there from Mississippi State again. JT Ginn out of that game. He came out of the game to start the fourth inning. So Mississippi State already into their bullpen. Auburn bullpen not a strength, but it might not be a concern here with an 11-5 lead over the Chanticleer.
Yeah, Auburn stays out of the losers bracket. That's a very dangerous team. 14 hits today. That was something that Auburn's offense kind of went south on them. Good to see them swinging the bat. For Mississippi State, Matt, the one thing this club does have is toughness. This is their 4th head coach in 4 years. These kids have been through a lot, and they are certainly the favorite to win that regional.
First time this afternoon we felt this crowd become a factor, and Tanner Allen told us yesterday they're going to be loud, it's going to be crazy, and he gave us chills just painting the picture. Means a little more.
Rowdy Jordan at the plate for Mississippi State.
You see that building over left field loft. People actually live there during the season. It's an amazing addition to this stadium.
1-0 to Jordan. Ripped into right field for a base hit. That'll tie us up at 4. Rounding third, coming home is Foscue. A one-out run scoring double. The Bulldogs in business in a brand new game here in the 5th.
Speaking of lofts, he lofts a line drive over David's head. Jumps on the count early. Talk about getting those crumbs back one at a time. Well, they're all the way back to the tie.
Now this Bulldogs offense has been a machine at times this year. 149 doubles now have been hit, including 2 today. And the dugout about ready to come unglued after that last AB.
Now starting to get greased up out there. A lot of guys, you better get going quicker. From the Jaguar fans. It's one thing, you get the bullpen going. Don't lollygag, as they say in Bull Durham, right?
Jackson Cullen, Wilhelm Allen getting loose, a lefty and righty. And here's Josh Hatcher. Base hit down the right field line. That's going to play 2 more. The Bulldogs back out in front. And sliding in at second. About 150th double of the season is Hatcher. And Bulldogs catching lightning in a bottle. 6-4 Mississippi State.
They're going to challenge that throw. Great job by Hatcher. Almost looked like a replay from the hit before by Jordan. But this could be one of the best arms in all of college baseball in the outfield. Goes down and gets the ball, drives it, and...
All right, we'll take a quick pit stop here in Nashville. McNeese trailing 6-4. Tying run at first.
Justin Duhan, the catcher. Lays down the bunt. It's a good one. Only play to first, not in time. And a nice stop over there by Toffler to keep it in front of him. And now the bases are loaded.
So that's a huge play for McNeese. I mean, typically you want to drive that run in. Duhan saw an opening. Third baseman Means, after this ball is bunted, falls down. And for a lefty to have to pick that up, spin around, pick up his target, and make an accurate throw, it's almost impossible. You see third baseman Means hits the deck. And for Grauer to make that play is almost just too difficult because of the left-hander having to spin around and make that play. Right-hander can barehand it and just throw it to first. But very smart by the 8-hole Duhan to load the bases.
Now the shortstop, Reed Bork, who has started every game but 2 since he's been on campus at shortstop. Coming off a great Southland tournament at the plate, but really struggled most of the season offensively. One out of 2 today. Ground ball. Stabbed at short by Dungan. They get the out at second, but a run will score as Dickerson touches home. But a heck of a play by Dungan, who gets it to Watkins for the out.
Well, Dungan at least saved 1 run. If that ball gets through, there's still only 1 out. Nice reaction.
That's a great play there. I just want to let you know that they're still in the 5th inning in Baton Rouge. Mike Rooney. At what point does Arizona State just kind of wave the flag on the inning here? Mike,
this is a 35-minute half inning. I've never been a pitching coach, Matt, but I'm pretty sure that would not be fun. Cannot find 3 outs. 1 out every 10 minutes.
Innings like that really help pace of play. And my guess is Mike Morgan and Ben McDonald are really enjoying the call there in the top of the fifth. Got another game to go. All right. Top of the sixth ends. Great defensive play there to save a run. 6-5 Indiana State. You know what? We can't get enough of this inning. We're going there.
We're so invested.
Almost another wild pitch there. We told you about how we're...
All right, we'll show a little mercy here and go to Chapel Hill, where North Carolina, the number 14 national seed, ACC tournament champs, have two runners on here in the bottom of the third, facing a UNC Wilmington team that won the Colonial Tournament, making their sixth appearance in the last 8 years. They've lost to North Carolina twice this year. My scores are 4-3 and 11-4. They're in a 3-0 hole here in the third.
2-0. It's a good situation to be in as a hitter right here. 2-0. Want to make sure you get a good pitch. The Iron Man, who's... I just love a catcher who wants to be back there every single day. It's not easy.
To center. Noah Bridges. Zarian Sharp gets out of it after walking the first two hitters. 3-0 after 3.
All right, let's dip in on Athens here. We're in the top of the ninth. Florida State has busted open the bats today. Mike Rooney. Albert has just hit a home run, and here looking to add to more. What a nice first game for Mike Martin in his final NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and if they're going to do this, it's going to have to be with offense. Now, well, how that will play against the extreme pitching of Georgia, it's hard to say, but seeing their big man, Drew Mendoza, get off like this, great start for the Seminoles.
6 home runs today for Florida State. 2 of them by Mendoza, 2 of them by Becker.
The shortstop playing his normal spot. There's no chance here. They're playing the pole in the outfield, obviously playing the shift on the infield. This dude could hit, man. Left on left. Watch the lower half go down and get it, too. Lower half really works. Stays in his backside right there. Backside line drive. 3 hits on the day for Mendoza. 2 home runs and a double.
Does he hear his name called Monday or Tuesday?
Man, I don't know. What were the first 2 rounds on Monday?
If you're saying that he's a professional first baseman, I understand the trepidation without a doubt. But there's a guy, just because the history of power hitting first basemen coming out of college, the professional ranks have not fared very well. But there's a guy right now in Queens who's hitting the cover off the ball. Pete Alonso came out of Florida as a power hitting first baseman.
Well, and it's interesting, too, with Alonso. I mean, the question was, can he defend enough at first base? He was not a great defender at first base in college. He's turned himself into a much better defender right now at first. But I think like Alonso with Mendoza, the bat's going to play. And if the bat plays, I mean, whether it's an American League team and you DH him or a National League team and you try to teach him first base, if the bat works, they'll find a place for you somewhere.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Robbie Martin. Breaking ball pulled foul. Eric Keating, Jr. from Orlando. Thirteenth appearance of the season. He has struck out 13 and walked 12. Nine home runs hit in this game. In last year's NCAA tournament, only one game had that many. There were 11 home runs when Vandy beat Clemson 19-6 in the Clemson Regional last year. One hopper off the glove and back into the
just want to let you know that they're still in the top of the 5th inning.
There is one down.
Slater with a 2 RBI single. It's 9-1.
Time of inning infinity.
And the question is, do you go to him in the ninth
Do you
inning
want
on
to?
5?
And this is just totally up to you, Runes. Do you want to FaceTime Mike Morgan and Ben McDonald? And
oh my
have a
gosh.
chat with them right now.
So now, if I go glass half full for Arizona State, they are really thin on the mound.
Glass half full.
What you said, yes. Remember Mississippi State last year in Game 1 of their regional lost 20-10.
Yes.
And then went to Omaha. So, but I would tell you the wrong end of this 9-1 score for Arizona State, that's not going to feel very good. And they are about to be out of bullpen arms. Once Eric Tolman throws, I mean, that's pretty much the depth of their bullpen. So.
And then you got to win 4 games in 3 days.
Yeah, I would say this for Arizona State. Now, they have an offense that could put up a ton of runs, but yeah, that's going to be a mandatory behavior at this point.
Florida State 12-7 on FAU. 6 home runs on the day.
Nice little slider.
They try to get into that winner's bracket game and a win away from maybe 2 wins away.
Played in the big leagues for a few different clubs.
Super. Without a loss.
Florida State alum, just like every other.
The challenge in Athens is going to be Georgia's so good defensively and on the mound. LSU and Baton Rouge, they have been very inconsistent. Look at Gabe Shepard throwing in the dugout. He has not thrown a pitch in an hour. That's not super safe, by the way, playing catch in the dugout. That's something freshmen do.
Coach next year, definitely in that mix.
Stop it.
Got a hit in Omaha.
Stop it.
For his dad.
Stop it.
He was excited about
2-run shot for Wallner. They've batted around.
I didn't know that.
Wallner with a double and a home run in the inning.
I just didn't know that.
Jeremy Mills telling us the NCAA tournament record for runs in an inning is 18.
Oh boy.
They've got 12.
Let's not do 18.
It was by LSU, by the way. Plays in Baton Rouge, so there's a connection there back in 1996.
And here's the other problem for Arizona State.
There are more problems?
Well, somebody actually has to throw the baseball forward. They are going to run out of bodies.
And this ball goes off.
Matt Wallner. What a great story. You mentioned it. From Minnesota. Went to North Dakota. And there was a problem when he got there.
Yeah, committed to North Dakota, and they dropped the program. So, he ends up going to Southern Miss, and what a storybook career he has had there. 3-year star player, and will certainly be a high draft pick and go on to professional baseball. Was actually a pitcher, too, a two-way player.
I've had my fair share of games in this ballpark. You've certainly had more than most, Ben McDonald.
Most runs in an inning in last year's NCAA tournament was 11 runs by Duke in that 9th inning when they came back to beat Campbell.
But that is stretching one out right there.
It is.
You want to know why the scouts love him?
We had 12 or
6'5",
11 or 12 here.
Pounds.
It's like 12.
I think if you're Tracy Smith, Matt, you've got to get your arms out of this game, and just your offense is going to win it or not. But you are going to the 25th man on the roster right now. We may have position players throwing shortly.
Matt Wallner, whose teammates affectionately call him Biggin.
All right, we'll leave that mind-numbing display and head to Oklahoma City. Nebraska trying to add to their lead 7-5.
1-0.
Five for 12, as you can see the numbers. Runners in scoring position. Both these teams have been good in that department today. 22 hits on the board already.
Winkles had to body up a few. Freshman catcher. Started this regional with a bang. 2-run shot to right field.
It's been solid behind the plate as well.
2-1 from Dandino to Schwellenbach. Another one skips.
Let on, make him pitch. He's afraid. He's afraid.
And it's a 3-1 count to Nebraska's number 4 hitter.
He's getting rattled out there.
Trying to turn that over.
Rattled.
Good hitters count coming now. 1 pitch in 1 spot.
The third free pass issued this inning by UConn pitchers. A walk by Fioli and a hit batter, and this walk by Dandino.
The third baseman, Angelo Altavilla.
And this is not the man you want to face with the bases loaded. Angelo Altavilla.
Switch hitter as well. He'll be up from the left side. You see his numbers right there. Put a little star on my score sheet. This is a big turning point in the game right here.
Altavilla, top player today for either team. Second inning, Fioli. And that is gone. Right over the 350 marker. Altavilla also has started 2 double plays over at third base. He's driven in 2 runs. And has really given the Huskers life when it was UConn early on with control.
Well, one of the double plays really kept it from being a gigantic inning. There's no doubt about that. He swung the bat well, but this is a big at bat. This is that point in the ball game where Nebraska can really separate themselves in the game right now.
1-1. Nice spot by Dandino. And he's a pitch away from leaving him full. Dandino leaves the bases loaded, but Nebraska gets 1. Going to the bottom of the 6th, it's a 7-5. Huskers lead.
Go to Fayetteville now. Dominic Fletcher is up with more insurance on second base. 2 outs. Number 5 national seed, national runner-up from a season ago. Off to a nice start against Central Connecticut State.
And the breaking ball has less bite. This is what happens when pitchers get tired and lose their legs. You've got to work hard to keep the ball down in the zone and be efficient. And when you get tired, the legs start to go, and then the ball starts to rise in the zone, and the hitters have a lot more success.
And with Hester.
Okay. Let's go to Athens now, where Florida State, 6 home runs on the day, are about to end this one.
He'll track it down, and that's how this game will come to an end. What a game it was. 13 runs on a season high, 20 hits for Florida State. 7 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors for Florida Atlantic. Another win for 11. All-time record holder in wins, any sport in the NCAA. And he got a win out of his starter, Drew Parrish.
Tell you what, just 5 days after not knowing whether or not their name was going to be called to get into the postseason, Florida State looked the part today. I mean, the ballpark was playing small, but they took advantage of it. 20 hits for the Noles today, 6 home runs. And they got the start they needed out of Drew Parrish. They needed some depth. He got them into the 6th inning, obviously put them in a position to win. Now they've got C.J. Van Eyck and a mid-90s fastball ready to go tomorrow night. They will face the winner of Georgia Mercer. We'll have that one tonight, 7 Eastern on the SEC Network. FAU awaits the loser of that one in the early game tomorrow.
9 home.
Who could.
All right, from one SEC host site to another. Back to Arkansas here, 2 outs.
An important 3-1 pitch. Base hit right field. It's going to score another run. Dominic Fletcher comes through. 5-1 Arkansas.
Well, the key on this pitch is the location. Again, it's up. Fletcher squares it up. It's a breaking ball. It's not a fastball, but again, it's in that zone that hitters look for. Up in the count 3-1. You can sit on a pitch that's about bell time. That's exactly.
Let's go to Nashville here. Jake Dickerson at the plate. He represents the go-ahead run. We're in the top of the 7th. And this is the McNeese Cowboys. The Southland champs won the conference tournament as a 5 seed in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Tying run at first.
One and two on Dickerson.
That's a case for Jake Dickerson of sitting too much on the off speed. You just get fooled by the fastball and decide to go ahead and swing. What makes that philosophy so difficult? Because if you sell out too much to one side, either the off speed or the fastball, you're susceptible to the other. And again, it shows you how good that at bat from Shane Selman was the at bat before.
Off the glove of the pitcher, going to be a tough play for Dungan, and he can't make it. Boy, if Grauer lets that go, I mean, it's always what if, but you got to think Dungan makes the play.
Also a little indecisive for Jake Dickerson at the plate. Kind of check swings it and gets a little luck here from Grauer that tries to grab it and misses it. No chance for Dungan. And watch how quick the lefty gets down the line. He smells a base hit. When you smell that base hit as a hitter, you get a little extra jump on your speed down to first base. And base hit for Jake Dickerson is second of the game.
30 pitches out of the bullpen for Tyler Grauer, who took over for Tristan Polley, our starter. Polley had 6 strikeouts and no walks. Swing and a miss for Carson Maxwell, who's 0 for 3 today, the senior third baseman.
You can almost book it when you come to the plate and a guy in scoring position like this scenario, first and second, but a guy standing at second base, that the first pitch is going to be something off speed. He's not going to drive it right down the middle. I'd say that number is upwards of 80% of the time that pitcher's going to throw you a first pitch off speed. And if you know that as a hitter, you sit back on it. And if it's anywhere around the zone, you can get it.
Off the end of the bat, 0-2. Popped him up, right side. Coughlin makes the catch.
Some pretty competitive games here today. Outside of the 12 spot that Southern Miss put up in that nearly 50-minute half inning against Arizona State, and Auburn against Coastal Carolina. But Campbell and NC State still in a weather delay. North Carolina with a 3-1 lead on the Seahawks. Southern and Mississippi State, that's just a 6-4 lead. That's SEC versus the SWAC. And Nebraska, well, they're in the bottom of the 6th inning now. UConn with 2 outs. They're at the plate. Keep you updated here on Bases Loaded. Matt Schick, Mike Rooney. Let's go to Atlanta. Auburn looking for more here in the bottom of the 8th. Their 22nd NCAA appearance, 3rd straight regional appearance. First time they've done that in 16 years.
We have had a lot of 3-2 counts in this ballgame. And really, just about every pitcher, even the relievers coming in with runners on base, they've kept pretty good pace. None of these pitchers used by either team so far have slowed things down to a crawl. Might have gotten close a couple of occasions. Williams stays alive, making Damron work. Opportunity for Auburn to score in a 5th straight inning.
This is a gratuitous 2-box for Mike Rooney. He just has demanded that we see the flow on McNeese's pitcher. Care to elaborate?
Will Dion, first of all, the mechanics are exactly Clayton Kershaw. So 80 mechanics with 80 hair. How is anyone?
Can you please explain?
20 to 80. Yeah, I'm sorry. 20 to 80 scale. 80 being Hall of Fame, potentially best ever to play the game.
Okay.
So Will Dion has got Kershaw's mechanics with 80 hair. How's anyone supposed to get a hit?
I mean, I don't know how.
Borderline unfair.
It's amazing they're up 6-5.
Shoulder keeps it closed. That is a textbook job of hitting. If he does more of that,
that is something. That is some delivery. You're right.
What a waste of funds on shampoo, though. I mean, come on.
3 straight batters have reached.
He would not be on board with a team haircut.
Scored in the 7th.
He would not. Yankees cannot draft him.
That's correct.
There's a difference between
Mississippi State with a 6-4 lead on Southern.
And a hitter with power.
UConn now with 2 outs and 2 on. So we're going to get you to Oklahoma City here. As Auburn has the lead, Indiana State with the lead, UConn trailing here in Oklahoma City, but they've got some action on the base pass.
He's going to fall in, makes the turn. A good throw. Might have had a chance to get him. He comes back, gets that foot in just in front. Ball throw gets away, but look at the runner coming in scoring position. Now the tying run in the scoring position here after back-to-back base hits.
And another hot hitter with Michael Woodworth stepping in. Chopped foul.
Coach Penders told us, he said, you know, this guy has just been so consistent for us all season long. You can see the numbers there on the year. He's had a good day today. Big opportunity right now. Tie this thing up.
UConn gets going offensively when Prado and Woodworth are locked in. They have had solid debuts to this NCAA tournament. Woodworth, fantastic with runners in scoring positions, driven in 32 and a .422 average. But this, again, is what Paulkert is known for doing. Most of the time, it's getting out of other people's messes. This time, it's his. Can he get out? As that one is fouled back by Woodworth.
Well, he made a mistake there. He left that ball right over the middle of the plate. UConn 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position in this ball game. 15 hits on the board.
It is an uphill climb for the two losers in day one of regional play. Your pitching will be put to the limit.
There is a huge gap as they play a huge shift on Woodward up the middle of the diamond. There's nobody in the middle of the field.
Paulkert's not going to get that call. He already got one against Langer.
I mean, Hallmark, the second baseman, is somewhat up the middle. Schulenbach is deep in the hole.
He's playing buddy baseball with Altavilla over there at third base. Two. Did he go? No, he did not. And a full count with 2 on and 2 outs. Tying run for the Huskies in the form of Anthony Prado standing on second base. It's been a fantastic start here in Oklahoma City. Chopper, tough play for Altavilla. He's made them all day, and he does again.
Oh, that's a big-time play, Lowell. You're playing back.
All right, let's go to Nashville now. Still 6-5, bottom 7, 2 outs.
That's blocked by Duhon behind the plate. Been pretty active back there. Again, this turf play is different behind the plate too, as we've talked about in the infield. Once that ball hits the ground, it's skipping pretty hard. That what your hair looked like back in college, Dave Neal?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I went with the wings, you know, kind of look, the little feather on the sides a little bit.
A little party in the back.
Yeah. Wasn't quite a mullet. Popped him up. The second baseman, Fisbeck, says he has it.
Let's go to Fayetteville now. The Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State, the champs out of the Northeast Conference, with nobody out and 2 on against the number 5 national seed Arkansas Razorbacks. How are the Razorbacks, Mike, equipped for this run here this year?
Yeah, they're very offensive. We know about their star power, Matt Cronin and Keston Herstad and Casey Martin, Dominic Fletcher, but their role players have been very good. Now, they got 2 freshmen in the weekend rotation. Collar Nolan, who you're looking at, is one of them. Those are the key.
Toward Martin again. This time the effective throw, runners advance, 1 out. And that'll bring up T.T. Bowens. For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, go to NCAA.com. Scott Pose, who played in the 87 and 89 College World Series, had RBI hits in both, or rather in the second one, had hits in both, and actually drove in 2 in a victory over North Carolina. As Casey Stengel would say, you can look it up.
That was a long time ago.
30 years, actually. Well, will this be it for Connor Nolan? Fans are anticipating that. Now Tom Newsom will ask them to make a call here. The umpire walks to.
All right, let's go to Atlanta now. Auburn with a 14-5 lead here in the bottom of the 8th. What's the significance of this for the Tigers?
Yeah, for me, the Tigers are getting healthy, Matt. And you think about it, Tanner Burns, one of the best sophomore arms in the entire country, is cleared to pitch this weekend. In theory, he'll throw against Georgia Tech to advance to the winner's bracket final, which would put Auburn in absolute pole position.
Jack Owen, who got the start today for Auburn, said, I have got to get this team off to a good start. And you can't ask for much more than this.
You think about Owens and Burns, the 2 aces for Auburn, only threw in the same SEC weekend twice. In the other 8 weekends, either one or the other missed time, so Auburn getting healthy at just the right time.
Now, Owen did labor a little bit, 86 pitches in 3 2/3, striking out 4, giving up 2 runs. But with 14 runs of support, look at those numbers today.
And that's an offensive.
That's Florida State-esque.
Yeah, we haven't seen Auburn hit like this in a long time. This is it's a team that was very highly touted in the preseason, but maybe they're getting on it at the right time.
Holland has himself a base hit. This is going to play 2. And the Tigers continue to dent the scoreboard here in Atlanta.
All right, things not as interesting there as they are here in Starkville. Tying run at the plate. We're in the top of the 7th.
Balls, 2 strikes.
How nice are those unis, by the way?
Those are pretty sweet. We're here.
Senior out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Numbers impressive, right there on the same page as Jake Mangum. That tells you all you need to know. Tied for 3rd place in hits this season nationally. It was 3 for 5 in that win against LSU back in early April. Served into center field, right at Jake Mangum.
And with one out, it doesn't change anything. Still have the tie run to the plate.
Johnny Johnson 0 for 3. He's due up next. How tough is it if you lose that first game to battle your way out of the loser's bracket to try to find a way to get to Monday?
It rarely ever happens.
Johnny Johnson, his brother Bobby Johnson, the catcher for Southern. Father Tukey was standout back in the day down at LSU. And Johnny with a 1-0 count here. So look at Tukey, LSU infielder back in the late 80s, early 90s, father of Johnny and Bobby.
Played for the great Skip Bertman at LSU. 91, they won the College World Series.
All right, so oftentimes here on Bases Loaded, the analyst who we're working with today, it's Mike Rooney, will voice up a suggestion. And his suggestion was, hey, Torkelson's up for Arizona State. And I reminded him it's 12-1. Care to defend yourself here?
Yeah, because Torkelson's about to hit a hashtag torque bomb. Oh, get out of here.
Stop it.
Get out of here.
Stop it. No.
Go
no,
ball.
no.
Go ball. Yes. Woo. Now it's a party.
Gosh, and a critical run at that.
Southern, we mentioned, beat LSU.
Sometimes on Bases Loaded, the host will apologize to the analyst in a 2-box.
Today is not one of those days, but I'm glad we got to see that crucial home run from Torkelson.
Hunter Bishop on deck. Another first-round pick coming up. I don't know if you care to redeem yourself or do you want to shame your analyst some more.
Look, there's not a lot I can do here.
He's got the 2-run lead.
I suppose I've been shamed, even though I feel like I'm still right. He could have hit that to the moon. I feel like I would have been right. But Torkelson with a home run.
To the opposite field, by the way. He has got crazy power.
Can't believe it. That's a first here on Bases Loaded. That's never happened. You being right, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, no. Did we go back-to-back?
No.
We did not.
Yeah, you got a little excited.
We did.
All right. Let's get out of there. 12-2. You're right, Rick.
Like you almost saw throw ball in the center field. That doesn't make any sense either. So right now you got a guy at the plate that is a pretty good hitter. So let's go after him. He's hitting 339.
And the 2-2 hammered to deep left. Drifting back is Jordan at the track, at the wall. And that's a home run. Just like that, we are tied at 6. And Johnny Johnson, his 4th long ball this season. Wow.
What a moment there for Johnny Johnson. Looked like that one was going to be caught there by Rowdy Jordan, but it was not. And we are tied at 6. And now here, so that's the number 6 national seed. How about the number 5 national seed in Arkansas? 1 out and 2 on here. Life comes at you fast, Mike Rooney.
Yeah, it does. And the ball's really jumping at the Duty Noble, at the new dude. What an effort by Rowdy Jordan. I'll tell you, Carrick Jansen, the second-year head coach at Southern, Matt, has done an unbelievable job. Took over a program that, with a lot of tradition, but had some APR challenges. And boy, Carrick has a great pedigree in the coaching profession. Was actually a player agent under Scott Boras for a while, and has gotten things going at Southern in short order.
He did a great job timing it up too.
And this one sent down the third baseline.
And again, the backdrop for the game in Mississippi State is the fact that JT Ginn, sensational starter for Mississippi State, was pulled during warm-ups in the 4th inning and left the mound with a trainer. And so that makes a win here even more imperative, just knowing that you had to go to your bullpen a lot earlier than you thought.
Yeah, and obviously for Mississippi State, not only do you have to get the win, but you are going to burn some serious bullpen in this game. This is getting really interesting in Starkville.
We saw all 4 teams work out yesterday.
Central Michigan, the longest winning streak in the country on the other side of the bracket, with Miami, who's got a really talented young team.
They had it out today for batting practice. They're all adept at that part of the game.
And here's Central Connecticut State from New Britain, Connecticut. The Blue Devils trailing 6-2.
There's DeVee. First pitch
Southern,
strike.
by the way, its first tournament appearance in 10 years.
And look for him to
and,
make a pitch.
Always respect teams like that
that
come into this tournament. First game.
Actually stole 2 back
And
in the
maybe there's
fourth
an
inning. Remember,
advantage
stole second, then
to
third.
play the first game of the day, because Mississippi State says, you know what, we want to play early. Southern says, all right, maybe it's not as rowdy at Duty.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Ole Miss, remember last year when they lost their home regional to Tennessee Tech, weather got to the point where it dissipated what were incredible crowds. I understand why Chris Lemonis and Mississippi State would want to do this, because if you're worried about any kind of weather, get that first game in. The worst thing you want to do is be stuck with the night game and hanging around the field all day. But you do take away from your crowds a little bit, no question about it.
So that inning ends in Fayetteville. It'll remain 6-2. High drama in Starkville. The go-ahead run at first.
99% nervous fans right now.
I'd go 99.9. David. 0 for 3. Watch ball 1 there.
I think the loss of focus had a lot to do with that. You saw it coming. That he's worrying about the runner at second base, and that's what speed does. Yeah, and he gives up the home run.
Jared told us yesterday he's pretty superstitious by nature. Getting set to throw his 21st pitch here. Typically has a cup that he keeps with him through the early part of a ball game. If things are going well, he'll keep drinking from the cup. If not, one of his teammates will come over there, smash it, he'll get a new one. Not sure how he'll treat the rest of this game here in the top of the 7th. Perhaps a new cup is in order the rest of the way.
One of the things he was also telling us about, I relatively stay calm. I'm very calm. And Jake Mangum goes, nah, not really. Not all the time.
Cut on and miss. The lead was retired. Second strikeout for Jared Leibel.
Yeah, Leibel, nice comeback right there after giving up the home run in the bunt hit. That will unnerve you. Now he's coming on close to 25 pitches this inning. That's where mistakes happen as well.
So you got 2 outs. You got Wheatley, the speedster, at first.
Gotta go.
You're gonna send him.
Absolutely, don't wait around.
That's exactly what Mississippi State's thinking.
Yeah, and you don't care if they throw over 20 times. You're going. Make them throw you out. Make them throw you out doing what you do best.
So here's Malik Blaze, and how big is that catch now at the end of the last inning? Deep in the hole, it's short. Keeping a couple of extra runs off the board. At that point, you feel like Mississippi State's going to blow it wide open. Instead, you keep the deficit at 2, and guess what? Next time up to bat, you tie it up.
There's times to pay attention to runners and times not to. We saw him win not to. This is the time you pay attention to runner if you're Leibel.
Fastball inside, 1-0.
His delivery time is under 1-2, which means that's pretty quick. Anything over a 1-3 advantage base stealer.
How about Southern Miss pouring it on against Arizona State? One of the surprise scores we've seen thus far. The Eagles scored 12 runs in the 5th inning of that game. A 12 spot, Nick.
Ouch. I'd say you go on this pitch.
Two and one. Wheatley thought about it, quickly retreated.
Well, I think he should go on every pitch from here on out in this at-bat. There's no reason to wait around. Not with his speed, not with his ability to steal the base.
seen his speed. We've seen the arm talent out there in right field. 3 balls in his strike to Malik Blaze. Kerry Jackson told us yesterday Blaze wanted to play shortstop last year, was over at third base, couldn't quite beat out the player at the position. Told him to start this season. It's your spot. You're going to have to lose it.
Betting the farm on this pitch.
He's going. Blaze has held on to that starting shortstop position, done a remarkable job, as you saw just moments ago. There goes Wheatley. Did you say bet the farm?
Yeah, I bet the farm. I still own the farm now.
I would have told you last night Golden State was going to beat Toronto, and I would have said bet the farm. No. Wheatley will get a head start here. Payoff pitch coming. In a tie game in the top of the 7th. Ball 4. And the inning continues. Runners now at first and second for Southern.
I'm going to tell you what speed also does right there. They were playing, holding the runner on a 3-2, 2-out pitch. Usually you take your first baseman and play it behind the runner at first base. They are so worried about a jump Wheatley would have gotten, they had to hold him on. You rarely see that.
Cole Gordon getting loose in the Mississippi State pen. First walk issued by Leibelt. And here comes Bobby Johnson. Johnson's 1 for 3, drove in a run, scored another. Base hit here likely gives Southern 7-6 advantage. Pitch number 50 for Leibelt on the outer half for a called strike.
The Johnson brothers having quite the day.
Well, Tukey's got to like that, right?
Yes, proud papa.
All right, got some scores for you. Auburn just polished off Coastal Carolina 16-7. We'll be joining ESPNU in just a matter of moments. But this is what you came for, the quad box.
Let's get quadrangular.
Campbell and NC State, they were in a weather delay for quite some time. Campbell put up a 4 spot in the first. Obie Collins with a home run. We're in the top of the 9th. NC State making it interesting. Illinois State, the Redbirds with a 6-2 lead on the regular season champs of the Big Ten, 6-2. That ball falls in Oklahoma City. Nebraska has pitched in and out of trouble here. They haven't trailed since, I believe, the 3rd inning here against UConn. They took a they tied it up at 4 in the 3rd and haven't trailed since. But here it's 7-5, and Darren Erstad, I want to check his blood pressure there in the dugout, because each inning it's been an adventure.
If you're Oklahoma State, that's the type of game you want to see. Let them beat each other up.
7-5 here, 2 on and 1 out in a regional that was supposed to be in Stillwater, but because of all the rain there at Allie P. Reynolds Field, there in Stillwater, they moved it to Oklahoma City.
Here we go again. UConn threatening, still down by 2. Big swing from Kyler Fedko. And it's an 0-1 count. Fedko has 2 doubles, one of them a ground rule double. It could have been a triple. And would have driven in a run.
All right, we're not leaving Oklahoma City, but do want to show you what's happening in Baton Rouge. Southern Miss.
Way off the mark, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. And with that
had
base knock from Gazzo.
What'd you call it? Close to a 50-minute top of the 5th. They batted around. Matt Wallner had a double and a home run in the inning. They put up a 12 spot.
It's just hard to believe.
That was a rough inning for pitching coaches all across the planet. But that could be this type of regional. Baton Rouge could lend itself to a ton of offense. You've got the environment plus some really offensive clubs.
Spencer Torkelson has already gone deep for his 22nd on the season. He's tied with Hunter Bishop now with Arizona State for the Pac-12 lead in home runs. Mike Morgan and Ben McDonald on the call of that game. That'll be a 5-hour affair once that's over. It's the beauty of bases loaded. We don't have to stick anywhere. And that half inning is over. Huge punch out there with 12-2. Let's go to Oklahoma City here. Tying runs on base.
Second strikeout this inning for Robbie Palkert. Guy has been nails.
Good changeup right here. Again, arm speed, split finger is his changeup. You can just see it go into him. He's got great motion with it, but split finger fastball. It comes out of your hand with great arm speed. You can see the hitter's just out in front over the top of it.
So third straight inning that UConn has 2 on with 2 outs. Palkert starts off with a strike, 90 on the gun. Previous 2 innings, it has been Robbie Palkert working out of it. It was a mess he inherited from Nate Fisher back in the 5th. Cleaned up a mess he made an inning ago. And now 2 on, 2 outs. Facing David Langer.
He's a pitch away from getting out of this. Ooh, split finger again.
Some nasty movement on the splitty from Palkert.
You can see him set it up in his hand. Comes out of the hand. You got to make sure, young pitchers, you do that. You got to get way out in front with it to get that motion, get that ball to make the move that it does at the end of it. It's got great arm speed with it.
Tough to lay off that one too, with 2 strikes.
It just looks like a strike, and then the bottom falls out on it.
And that will roll foul.
And the reason that pitchers set it up in their hand before the pitch, that way they don't have to go into the glove and show the hitter that they may be doing something with it. So you go ahead and put it in your hand the way you want to at the beginning. And then if you want to go to the fastball, you just slide your hands over. And it's easy to, you don't have any indication of what you're doing.
It's a big ballpark, so it really doesn't show accurately the kind of support that Nebraska has showed up with this fan base. They're here, they're finding the shade. They are very vocal in a class way, as they always are.
Well, it's a warm afternoon. You're not going to, if you got a chance to get over to the under the underhang and get some shade, you're going to do that today.
Pick the sport, pick the distance. It doesn't matter. If Nebraska's in it, they're going to travel well. 2-2 to David Langer. Down the first baseline, the glove by Gomez. Add that to the defensive highlight reel for this Huskers team.
Huskers have had magic in Oklahoma City before, winning some Big 12 tournament championships. How about Noah Bridges off Tyler Baum with the bomb? Did I tell you to put the bomb on?
See what you did there.
Sorry. His 4th of the year, and it's a 1-run game there in Chapel Hill. We already told you and showed you, those of you watching on ESPNU, 16-7, Auburn with the win. NC State and Campbell. That game still in the 8th. Mississippi State and Southern. Mississippi State has just taken the lead, 8-6 on Southern out of the SWAC. Coming up next, those of you watching on ESPNU, it's Illinois and Clemson In the Oxford Regional, Richard Gross, Lance Cormier with the call. Those of you watching on Bases Loaded, our coverage continues. Let's go to Nashville now, where Indiana State trying to close it out against McNeese.
Down in the dirt, gets away from Wright, who will throw down to first, and almost.
He's still safe. He's still safe. He came off the bag, but that's bad by Selman not to run that ball out.
They're going to review this one for sure.
Yeah, he came off the bag before. Selman's frustrated with himself that he's going to make the last out of the game. Just kind of, and a strikeout. It's never easy to handle. But he's jogging down to first. Tofflin has a tough time, and I think he pulled his foot before he got control of the baseball. I think he's going to be safe anyway and get away with one, but not exactly what you teach a base runner to do. But I know the feeling. You strike out, especially at the end of the game, you're frustrated with yourself, and it's very difficult to concentrate on running that baseball out, but you got to do it. Let's take another look at it.
I thought he had his foot on there right when he picks it up.
Bad throw to first. Tofflin steps up. He's got to find it first. Then he steps on it. He picks it up with his right hand, and yeah, it does look like he has it. I thought he might have pulled his left foot, and that's difficult if you're Shane Selman, because you would have been safe if you were sprinting down the line.
That may be our ball game. And it is. The Sycamores moving on in the winner's bracket. McNeese will play tomorrow in an elimination game. They will await the loser of Vanderbilt, Ohio State. It's a 6-5 final score. And this is what our bracket looks like after one game today here in Nashville. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2 tonight. Vandy and Ohio State. But Indiana State moving on as they pick up their 42nd win of the season. McNeese goes to 35-25.
Good one tonight. Ohio State barely got in their conference tournament and won it, so they get the automatic bid against Vanderbilt. Probably the best team in the country. That's tonight, 7 Eastern.
I mean, you're down to your last out in a regional opener. You run that out. I mean, that to me is mind-boggling. And he knows that now.
Yeah, that's why you always have to have the habit of sprinting everything out, because if you don't get in that habit, something like that happens that is going to be tough to live with.
Both things at once.
Well, Vanderbilt will take on Ohio State later on today, and will take on the winner of that game. Will face Indiana State in a winner's bracket game. Here, North Carolina has gone to the bullpen after Tyler Baum exits.
Yeah, UNCW giving North Carolina a hard time. UNCW plays the Tar Heels. They're not going to be intimidated. Lance Salati is their main dude in the bullpen, having to go to him in the 6th.
And 3 doubles. He's walked and doubled in the game already. You said it before we went to break. In this situation, in the second, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. 9-hitter up. Jackson Meadows tried a squeeze bunt. This is Suggs, the 8-hitter. And he does not show bunt on ball 1.
So that's the game, right? When we talk about difference between college game, pro game, how we're going to go about it. He got a double. He had a double his last at bat. So do you let him swing, or are you trying to force the game and try to get that run in?
What do you think?
I'm going to be making sure that I'm aware of playing for the safety squeeze, because if they did it before, they'll do it again. And I'm sure in the scouting reports, that's something that's big. If it's executed right, here's the thing about a safety squeeze. If it's executed correctly, there really is no defense. If you have the holding on the runner, he bunts to first base, can't do anything about it.
The swing and a miss at the 1-0 pitch. The throw is down to second and cut off as Noah Lyles takes second base. That takes away the force.
Well, now all things change.
Second steal for Lyles in 4 tries.
UNCW stole 105 bags now on the year with 2 today.
It was weird though. They threw down, but the infielder cut it off and was looking at home. It almost was. They didn't really even try to get that runner. So if you're going to throw down, you have the guy there. I feel like you want to try to put down the tag, get ready for it anyways. Try to get the out.
Ball 2 to Suggs, nicely blocked by Martirano. That holds the runners.
That was a huge block by Martirano, and this guy's been phenomenal behind the plate. How great every inning for almost the entire season. You get a breaking ball all the way out in front, turn your body perfectly, keep that right, dead in the ball, keep it right in front of you. You know, we could be talking later about that being the block of the game. 3-2 win.
2-1 on Matt Suggs. Suggs to left field, well struck. Enweiler is back. It's over his head. Off the wall on a hop. Thorburn scores. Lyle's coming home. UNCW takes the lead. The unlikeliest source of power in this lineup. Matt Suggs has walked once and doubled twice.
And that ball was smoked into left field. Get a fastball right here, and it is smashed. And good for him on being ready for that 2-1 fastball. Foot down early. Get on your horse as a catcher. You see the man tagging at third base. Good read. Good baseball right there. And how about the momentum swing that we were talking about? The strike 3, bases loaded, to where we're at right now.
Could have been a 4-1 game with North Carolina still at the plate. 3-2 pitch, borderline pitch, goes the Seahawks' way. Leadoff home run. And after an out, 3 consecutive hits to take the first UNCW lead of the game. Now Jackson Meadows, and there's ball 1. One and one for Meadows, the number 9 hitter.
And good for you, Matt Suggs. Get an opportunity to get behind the dish because you're catching the ball. UNCW having trouble with catching the ball and pass balls and wild pitches. Takes advantage of an opportunity. Here we are in a regional. He's 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Couple ribbies. Feel pretty good about yourself right now.
Really the only reason why he was given the starting job, because of his defensive ability. Meadows shoots one to second base. It's caught. And McGee just a little bit late as Suggs got back into second. And McGee is hurt. Went diving in head first and comes up reaching at that left side.
It's always scary when you go and you dive like that. Phenomenal. I mean, well hit ball. Another.
Let's go to Oklahoma City now. You see some bullpen action for Nebraska. A double there from Tapa, and now Prado is up. He's already got 2 hits on the day. He represents the tying run.
They have threatened in the previous 3 innings, but don't have much to show for it. Up the middle, off the glove of Palkert. It's going to be tough. The throw on time. Schwellenbach does it again from short. That is an enormous play.
That was just well done. 1-6-3 on the putout. Get a piece of it as a pitcher and slow it down, knock it down. It was ticking it up the middle and then able to come back and make the play to get the out. Gigantic out right there.
And this is one that was not set up for Schwellenbach. You saw how he had to hit the brakes as he was going up the middle and change his direction as it looks like Penders will slow this down and considering taking a look at it.
Whether it can be reviewed.
And that's going to lead to a review.
All right, so 7-5 there in the 8th. Meanwhile, bottom of the 6th, bases loaded and 2 outs for the Big Ten regular season champs. A couple of Big Ten teams on your screen.
Went down the line, the initial view.
One leading, one trailing.
It looks like it got him right there before his foot came down on the bag. Chance to see it one more time. That's a little tougher to see.
Yeah, that angle makes it look closer. Here we go. That's a tough angle to see because we can't see.
Yeah, I think the very first view we got of it, our guys doing a great job of giving us
All right, well, they take a look at that. Let's go to Louisville here with the bases loaded.
How about this, AB? This is his 19th at bat of the season. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the first round of the regional. Pretty big AB right here for this young man. Just a freshman. Getting introduced to postseason baseball in a big way.
And the Hoosiers with 5 grand slams this year. The 1-1. Weak ground ball back to Hedrick. He'll go to first, and Illinois State gets out of the inning. With their first hit since the first inning, Indiana strands 3, and it's still a 5-run lead for the Redbirds.
Indiana leads them loaded. They're nearly loaded for the Southern Jaguars. The champs out of the SWAC. Tying run at the plate. The fight continues.
It's dynamic in that win against LSU back in April. Electric in the SWAC tournament.
15,000 umpires disagreed. The naked eye looked like he did hold up. Let's see. Borderline. They could have rung him up. I've seen worse called a strike.
Your time at Florida, maybe coaching out at Salt Lake or the minors?
Yeah.
Just about everywhere?
Yeah. Well, here's what young hitters should do. And I learned this too late in my pro career as a player. When you're trying to check your swing, as you're trying to check your swing, take the top hand off the bat, and automatically your bat will not turn over. I learned that too late in my career, actually. But if you feel yourself checking a swing, automatically, just right away, take the top hand off the bat.
Laporte represents the tying run. And a 2-0 count. And Cole Gordon working his way into a bit of a mess. Two and one. Laporte does have 6 home runs this season. Coach Jackson telling us yesterday he may have potential as a pitcher. They've actually utilized him 3 times this year. He has a dynamic arm. Chop foul. Well, nothing has come easy today in this one.
They've already slayed a giant winning a midweek game against LSU. So they know they can do it.
And it was a game in which LSU played pretty well. Southern played pretty well. They were the better team that night. Tigers didn't hand it to them. 2-2 from Gordon. On the way. Swung on and missed. On the 20th pitch from Cole Gordon. He recorded his 2nd strikeout.
Right before that, you saw Skelton pound the ground with his glove, making sure that he follows through, keeps that pitch down, and got him to entice him to go after that. pitch out of the zone, and you're now 1 out away from getting out of a huge jam. Big at bat here.
Johnny Johnson's 1 for 4, but that one hit a very big 2-run jack his last time up. Jags about hit Mississippi State today, 11-9. Wind now gusting towards right field. Oh, and 2.
Well, if you're Johnny Johnson, you got to expand the zone. Try to put it in play. Crowd feeling it. Could be the pitch of the ball game right here.
They'll tell you the story on this pitch.
How he laid off that pitch, I'll never know. What a great take.
Taylor at third, Williams at second. 2 outs and a 1-2 count to Johnny Johnson.
Same pitch they threw Laporte right here.
Johnson stays alive just like he did the last time up. A 2-run blast to left field. It was 6-4 before that swing. Tied us up at 6 apiece in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, hanging slider right there.
Johnson has struck out twice today as well. Gordon would like to make it 3 times. Battling back.
He recognized spin right out of the hand. Knew where it was going to be. So they've gone fastball, slider, fastball, slider. Let's see if they go fastball here. Maybe the same exact spot you got Laporte with would work. Because he might be thinking pull. He shouldn't be, but he might be thinking it. You could get him with a fastball outer third away.
And time is called by Johnson.
Johnson's given a nice at bat right here. Fell behind quickly, hanging in there.
No doubt. Saw Texas Tech out in front of Army early going out in Lubbock. It's 9-6 here in Starkville. The 2-2. Called strike 3, and he punched him out. Gordon out of the pen gets the job done. 3 strikeouts here in the 8th. Bulldogs lead it 9-6.
Creighton, and you're recruiting some big guys.
That chick, Mike Rooney here with you. We've got more games than we can keep an eye on at once, but we are doing our best in Morgantown. Texas A&M, not known for their offense, but getting off to a good start, at least with 1 out and 2 on here in the bottom of the first. Creighton and Michigan, that's in Corvallis. Creighton, one of those sleeper teams, Ed Services Club that could create some problems there for Oregon State and the rest of that region.
Yeah, Creighton was in the Corvallis Regional in 2012. They play elite defense. They've got tremendous power. It's an older team. Texas A&M, if they can get leads in that regional, Matt, they have as good of rotation, weekend pitching as anybody in the country. John Doxakis, Asa Lacey, Chris Weber. It's been all about offense for A&M. They've had a tough time scoring.
And top left, Texas Tech, number 8 national seed with a 1-0 lead on Army. That was a sac fly there in the bottom of the first. And Stanford Maybe a little chip on the shoulder, getting that number 11 seed despite being a top 5 team for much of the year. RPI says 11 was about right.
Yeah, I would say not maybe. There's definitely, and their catcher right there, Maverick Hanley, he is one of my favorite players in America. He plays with 17 chips on his shoulder, and that Stanford regional is loaded though. Sac State, UCSB, Fresno State, that is maybe the toughest regional in the country.
Clemson has a 1-0 lead on Illinois in the Oxford Regional. Southern Miss with a 12-2 lead on Arizona State in the late innings there.
On the ground, brings Thomas to his right.
And Michigan, one of 5 Big Ten teams in this field, will get their first ABs coming up in the bottom of the first. Matt Schick, Mike Rooney here in our bases loaded coverage. We take you from regional to regional, show you the best action, live action, and highlights throughout the NCAA tournament.
So nice to see.
Go to Stanford here
strikes, right?
In the first.
I think one of the keys for Randall today is he's got to get the guys at the top of the order out, keep them off base. They've got so much power, 3, 4, 5, and Wolf, Matheson, and Dashbach. Don't want to be facing those guys out of the stretch with runners on base. If he can navigate through that top of the order, and if he can get through that middle, they've got some guys down the bottom though, and Kinnaman, Tala, Belafronto, that can get you also. Just a powerful lineup.
Stowers will try again, back up the middle and right towards Wallstadt. He turns 2. Just what Randall was calling for, and Maverick Hanley hit right into it, but it was hit hard.
Yeah, and a good pitch and runner off. You see the second baseman going right to the bag. Taylor-made double play. 4-3, and that's what Randall's going to have to do. Keep the ball down in the zone, get a lot of ground balls, keep the Stanford team in the ballpark. We talked earlier, it's warm, the ball will fly here, but 7 pitches and 2 outs, pretty good start.
Brandon Wolf from Las Vegas has been hot as of late. 16 of his 17 home runs this season came before the month of May, but his batting average has crept up a little bit too. 264, 17 home runs, 38 RBI.
Go to the top of the 6th. 2-2 count now as North Carolina with its second reliever in the game now here in the top of the 6th. And this is a North Carolina team that had a nice run in the ACC tournament, but these Seahawks giving them a good test here in the 6th.
And remember, North Carolina had struggled before the ACC tournament and lost their last 2 series. So not sure which North Carolina team you're getting, but they are deep in their bullpen. Hanson Butler, another one of their key arms, already in the ball game.
Just to increase the tension. Boy, what an inning this has been. 3 runs, 3 pitchers. 2-2 with 2 on and 2 out. Butler hit on the ground to third. Ike Freeman makes the play. Carolina strands to UNCW.
All right, let's go out to Los Angeles now, where Baylor and Loyola Marymount. No score here in the top of the 2nd. Now, these are the Lions, were the conference champs, out of the West Coast Conference champs. First appearance in this tournament in 19 years. Taking on a Baylor team that was one of the best hitting teams in the Big 12.
Baylor had a really great year considering they lost Cody Bradford, the preseason Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, out for the year. It's a special position player group for Baylor, and those hitters really carried the day.
Jimmy Winston, the 1-strike pitch, squaring, and that was a safety squeeze, and it's fouled off, and it's 0-2 on Hirsch. Well, LMU trying to get something from the bottom of their order.
Excuse me for Rox, but you kind of figured this could happen in a situation where you have a hitter up at the plate that has not driven in many runs whatsoever, and Jason Gill just like that trying to safety squeeze.
0-2. Delgado at third, Lambeau at first. Winston trying to wiggle out of it. That's outside. 1-2 the count.
Well, here's the thing about Hirsch, Rox. If he can put the ball in play on the ground, he can really fly. So it's going to be tough to double him up. He just needs to put the ball in play on the ground somewhere.
An opportunity for LMU to strike first. The 1-2 pitch. And it's in the air to right off the bat of Hirsch. This should be deep enough to score the run. Davion Downey makes the catch. Tagging. Tommy Delgado scores, and LMU takes the early lead here in the second inning on the sac fly off the bat of Dylan Hirsch.
Well, we talk about this every year, Roxy. In order to advance in the postseason in college baseball, guys that have not been doing certain things end up doing them. And we talked about how Hirsch hadn't driven in a lot of runs, but he gets the job done right there. And just like that, LMU, top of the second, up 1-0.
That's just his 7th RBI of the year. 2 outs, Lambeau at first. Here is the 9-hitter, Cooper Yale, the catcher, up for LMU, and Ewell takes it low and away, ball 1.
Now, Lambeau will run, Roxy. He's 8 for 14 in stolen bases at first base. And obviously, Jason Gill, the legs have been a part of their offense. It's an offense that has struggled to score, and the wheels is what they rely on to steal bases.
They've got to find ways to manufacture runs any way they can. There's a drive to right off the bat of Ewell. Downey going back in the corner. Almost had it sail over his head. He was able to recover and make the catch, but a run for the Lions. Middle third of the order coming up for Baylor.
All right, nice job, Roxy. We head to Oxford. It's Clemson and Illinois. No score, tied at 1 here in the second inning.
Looks the right fielder, just lets him do his thing. I guess when you get a gold glove, if you can get to it, go get it. For more coverage of the Division I baseball regionals and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com. Got the scoreboard up there. Keep an eye on what's happening all over the country. 3 finals from early games today. Auburn playing in the Atlanta Regional, hosted by Georgia Tech, wins 16-7 over Coastal Carolina. First pitch strike to Justin Hawkins. Florida State, Mike Martin's final years, head coach of the Seminoles, 13-7. Winner over the Owls of FAU, and Indiana State beats McNeese. Close game, 6-5. Mentioned about
Nebraska has a run across here in the 9th, looking for more with 2 outs.
Weekly hit back to Worcester, makes the play, but the Huskers add another 3-run lead, 3 outs away from opening up an OKC with a dub.
All right, to Stanford we go, 2 on here in the first.
Go up and away, throw a curveball, something down and away.
Fouled off the catcher, McPhillips. And Dashbach will stay alive, 1-2.
That pitch right there could set up this next one. You saw him go up right there. He can go change up, down and away, or he can go curveball off the plate. The key in this situation as the pitcher is to try and get the hitter's hand started. The illusion of a strike that breaks off the plate and get him to chase. Even if it's a check swing or something off the end of the bat, you want to get that hitter's body and his hand started.
Grounded up the third baseline, foul. Just by a hair.
Came in right there on him. First pitch he's come in on and jams him. Dashbach does enough to fight him off. And now, like I said earlier, he's got him set up for something off speed, down and away.
Stands have filled up nicely here at Klein Field, and a lot of Cardinal red, but you're also seeing a lot of green with all 4 teams not having to travel with more than a couple of hours. 1-2. Curveball back up the middle, diving stop by Torres across the diamond. How about that?
Wow, what a play by the shortstop.
What a play by the shortstop, Keith Torres.
Zip over to Morgantown now. Texas A&M and Duke. The Duke Blue Devils last year won a regional championship over Georgia. And now here, the home of the Mountaineers.
Another lefty. This is R.J. Schreck, the right fielder. Schreck, a true freshman out of Los Angeles, went to Harvard Westlake High School. He was inserted into the lineup in right field when the starter in right field, Chase Cheek, got hurt. One of the many injuries we've attempted to document here early, but there have been so many for this Duke team. It's remarkable that they're back here trying to return to the Super Regional for the second straight year.
And I know some of our viewers are probably thinking, why so many lefties? And I think sometimes, that lefty-lefty matchup is a little overused or, thought about, it's too much of an advantage. I take myself back to my college days. It didn't make any difference to me. All of a sudden I get to pro ball, and then now the coach is saying, well, you can't hit lefties. Well, you know what? You're right, because I can't find a bat that's far enough that'll reach from the dugout all the way to home plate.
You got to give me a chance.
Exactly.
Well, Coach Chris Pollard at Duke, not shy to let his everyday lefties swing the bat.
I want to show you what's going on in Chapel Hill. Michael Bush is at the plate, so we'll go there full screen now. As that half inning is over, they go to the bottom of the second in Morgantown. No score between Duke and Texas A&M. Michael Bush at the plate.
Put the resources to baseball are starting to catch on. Michael Bush, the first team All-ACC player, with a high chopper foul. It was snared by Brooks Baldwin, but he was in foul territory.
For Michael Bush, thankfully for that was foul, but that was a great play by the first baseman. Brooks Baldwin right there. Little hops, 2 feet in, but unfortunately out of bounds for baseball.
Yeah, in baseball, you can't just keep your 2 feet inside the line. 1-1 on Bush, who doubled to start the bottom of the first for UNC. 2 flyouts since then.
And he's just missed those 2 flyouts, too. He's been spot on those.
Retiring Bush would be a 2-fold gain. It would end the inning, and it would push Sabato until the 7th. Close pitch, ball 2.
But getting back into that analytical talk, baseball, a lot of old, guys that played when I came up and older baseball players, they're not really into the analytical approach. I think there's so much value to analytics. Why not have the best information that I could possibly have to make decisions?
Bush, the North Carolina leader in on-base percentage. It's a chopper over the mound. Jones, gloves, throws, inning over. Nice inning in the field for Greg Jones.
Go to the 7th, North Carolina trailing there. Nebraska with a 3-run lead on UConn in Oklahoma City. This is the first game of that regional, as Oklahoma State will face Harvard after this one. Leadoff batter reaches with a single to left. We're in the 9th.
In place of Winkle.
Just gets the call in the outside corner, but 19 hits. I just, it's hard to just score 5 runs on 19 hits.
And damage, too, when you consider 5 doubles and a home run. And not dinks and dunks. Majority of these balls have been well hit. But you go back to the 3 double plays. The job of Palkert out of the bullpen.
That graphic right there shows you 3 for 16 is the reason you're not winning this ball game.
Could be a double play ball. Schwellenbach. And over to Roscom at first base. And Nebraska is 1 out away after they turn their 4th double play of the afternoon.
That's the other part of it, too, is talking about 3 for 16 runners in scoring position. The double play has been a huge factor in this game. 6-4-3 and a beauty right there. Nebraska fans now come to their feet.
Struck to left, but into the glove of Mojo Hagee. And Nebraska comes from behind to take game number 1 of the Oklahoma City Regional. It was not pretty by any means. They allow 19 hits to UConn, but still find a way. And I'll go back to what Darren Erstad told us about this team. They find a way to win ball games any way they can.
Yeah, really struggling.
Nebraska, first time in 11 years that they've won their first game of a regional. It's been 14 years since they've won a regional title. Good start here for Darren Erstad, Mike Root.
Yeah, no question. Darren Erstad's done a great job getting Nebraska to the postseason, but they have really struggled in the postseason. So an excellent start for a Nebraska team that maybe has a little bit of everything that they need to contend in this regional.
Fourth NCAA tournament appearance in the last 6 years under head coach Darren Erstad. They take down UConn 8-5, and again, that number with runners in scoring position. Just incredible when it comes to UConn. They have 3 hits with runners in scoring position, had 19 hits in the game, and score only 5 runs.
Back against the wall.
Runners in scoring position, they were 3 for 16.
Elimination tomorrow.
Harvard and Oklahoma State coming up a little bit later on. Clemson and Illinois tied at 1 in the bottom of the second. We go to Starkville. Mississippi State has blown this one open. Don't let the score fool you here. This was a very competitive game until about the 8th inning.
Yeah, and Southern really made Mississippi State use bullpen.
Dude has been rocking today. And more fireworks to come later this weekend. Crowd on its feet. 1-2.
And the plan has been fastball, then he's wiping them out with the curveball this inning. It's more of a curveball with a harder break than a slider. So let's see if he does it here.
Gordon with 5 strikeouts.
He tried it. I think at this point, why mess around? Just throw a fastball and be done with it.
I'm with you. The 2-2 on the way from Gordon. 6 strikeouts to slam the door shut at Mississippi State. Top Southern 11-6 the final.
Well, Southern held their attention for quite some time, and I think this has come back and really helped Mississippi State because now they're refocused. They know they're in a regional, and they know what could have happened if they had a bad couple innings. Southern did everything they could to hang around Mississippi State. Well, they ended up flexing the muscles at the end, and a good start for the Bulldogs as they move on to the winner's bracket.
So the Bulldogs await the winner of Miami and CMU. That game coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern later today. Tomorrow night, MSU, and we will see who the Bulldogs will face. Meanwhile, Southern now in the elimination game tomorrow afternoon. That game will get underway at 12 local, 1 Eastern, as they await the loser between the Hurricanes and the Chippewas.
Got an update for you. We're going to the Great Northwest in Corvallis.
Ruh-roh.
Christian Bullock.
It's another team that's been a real enigma this year, Michigan. They've got high-end pitching and some big wins, some losses that are hard to figure out.
Well, we got some tweets here. Use the hashtag bases loaded. Jeff Smith, my goodness, the bases loaded channel is glorious. Hashtag quadbox. And Aaron Fitt from D1Baseball.com returned to the press box, put my earbuds in. The first thing I heard was Runes going, woo! Love the bases loaded energy. Pace yourself, Coach Rooney. Trust me, Fit, I have been doing my best to calm him down. It is a long day and a long weekend. He's peaking early.
Peaking early. Fading late.
Let's go to the Louisville Regional here. It's Illinois State and Indiana. Illinois State scored 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the sixth, 15 hits on the day. Indiana, that's their 5th hit of the day and a chance to draw closer.
And it's 7-4. And the bases remain loaded for Cole Barr. Third run batted in today for Dunham.
And that's how you do it right there. Keep your nose down, keep your chest down. Make sure you got plate coverage over that outside corner. You knew where the ball was going, and not exactly smoked, but hit right back up the middle. And the Hoosiers tack on another one.
Cole Barr 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts. But he can be a big hero right now. There's a breaking pitch and a good looking one. Strike 1.
Yeah, and I guess they just didn't want to throw that breaking ball against the left-handers. That's the first one we've seen, and he pumps it in there for a strike.
Cole Barr, draft eligible sophomore with some raw power, 16 homers. But now he's behind in the count, 0-2.
Another good breaking ball.
Cole Barr hit a couple of homers earlier this year at T-Mobile Ballpark. It's the home of the Mariners, used to be Safeco Field. Strikes out again. 4th strikeout for Barr, 2 outs, and here's Bradley coming up.
Well, it's a tough day for that young man. Just really
the number 5 national seed, Arkansas, an out away from taking its regional opener against Central Connecticut State, and they will do just that. 11 runs on 13 hits, 3 errors. Not great defensively, but getting it done here in the first game.
Yeah, I think Dave Van Horn will be pleased. He started a true freshman, Connor Noland, and saved Isaiah Campbell for the 1-0 game, and, you know, the offense was good, and that's the key for Arkansas. In Baum Stadium, they've got to play good offense.
Kerstad with a home run. Esther Kerstad, great freshman year last year. Fine as a sophomore this year. And you look at the bracket, Cal and TCU. TCU, one of the last 4 teams into the field of 64. Take on the Golden Bears coming up. Let's go back to Louisville.
Stays away 2-0 to Bradley. We talked about Scotty's dad, Scott, who's the head coach at Princeton. He's got an uncle who's the former head coach of the U.S. national soccer team. My cousin Michael, who is one of the top MLS players in that league with Toronto FC. Quite a family. The 2-0.
Yeah, they got some serious athletic resumes going on there in that family. I'd like to see young Scotty lay into one right here. He could change the whole complexion of this ball game with one swing of the bat.
Bradley with 9 home runs on the year and 26 driven in. Checked his swing. It's now even at 2. Lindgren has done a better job here finding the strike zone. First couple of hitters, you could tell he wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah, and
just
again,
didn't have the touch.
It's arm side run, and every ball that he's throwing is fading to the arm side. And so if you're Bradley, you got to stay out over the plate.
Lindgren tried to get him to struggle with something up in the zone, and he fouled it off. It's called spoiling a pitch there. You know, we've seen Indiana have a lot of trouble with that pitch today. For Bradley just to foul it off, that was a win.
He had a really good at bat his last time up, moving the baseball and getting an infield base hit. It's a good take right there. So, yeah, foul off a high fastball, spit on a slider that was certainly one that we've seen some of the Indiana hitters offer at. Now he's worked himself into a really good count here. You got to figure he's seeing fastball out over the plate again.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming up. Bases loaded, the 3-2. Fouled off. Nice play there by Casey Dykes, the first base coach.
Come on, Beans, let's go, baby. Come on, Beans, let's go, man.
Two runs in this inning for Indiana. They've got the bases loaded, a chance to maybe take the lead with a big swing. Inside, walked him, and it's 7-5. Second run walked in this inning. And the ninth man to hit, walking to the plate.
Take a little sidestep to Oxford. Clemson and Illinois. The Illini with a 2-1 lead. Michael Green, top of the order, has been pretty consistent here for the Tigers.
And that's an opposite field home run right there. Ball is moving in Oxford.
Tied at 2 for Clemson, their 80th home run as a team. That leads the ACC. That's top 10 in Division I. Clemson, the regional 3 seed. Illinois, the regional 2 seed. Ole Miss, the host school, the number 12 national seed. Back to Louisville.
Ball one.
I see you working, baby.
Jeff Lindgren. And so valuable as a starter and as a reliever for Illinois State, trying to get out of this inning with the lead intact. Curveball strike. The 1-1 from Lindgren. At the end of the bat, foul.
Well, we see all breaking balls. So all breaking balls to Barr, and now all breaking balls to Houston. And you just wonder, if you're Houston right here, can you get yourself to commit to a breaking ball? The percentages say that's what you're going to get.
Winner of this one gets the winner of Louisville UIC tomorrow. The losers will play tomorrow. So important to get out to a win day one of the tournament. Illinois State is seeing its lead shrink. It's now just 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Houston, another take, 2-2.
Another breaking ball. So he definitely looked like he was on time for that one. And now the cat and mouse game begins. Does Lindgren try to run a fastball in under his hands after seeing him spit on that breaking ball, or does he stick with his best off-speed pitch right here?
Ground ball, left side, going to be a tough play. Snagged by Huggins, comes up for it, not in time, and it's 7-6. Infield RBI single for Houston. And Indiana continues to claw back.
It's just a nice AB. Take the 1-2 slider, get the fastball. They tried to throw it in. That one's out over the plate. And Aiden Huggins with a great effort that probably saved a run. But the speedy Houston beats it out easily. And the Indiana Hoosiers, folks, are right back in this ball game, and Matt Lloyd's all fired up.
Came into this inning down 7-2.
All right, 2-box for you. Braden Gorham is on the mound for UNC Wilmington. Danny Soretti is at the plate with nobody out. Sabato, the great talented freshman, is on second, and he will remain at second with 1 out. He's positioned here for the Heels.
Yeah, it's North Carolina. They've got 2 star freshmen, Danny Soretti, who just flew out, and Sabato right in the middle of the order. Almost never see true freshmen hit 3rd and 4th. So UNC has been very much an up-and-down team, but that's a winnable regional for them.
Ryan Feynman is up for Indiana with the bases loaded. And North Carolina, the number 14 national seed. Looks like we're going to have a conversation there on the mound. Perhaps that will be it. So let's go to Chapel Hill here.
Freeman takes a strike.
He's had some good swings, though. Base hit, line out, got a walk. You heard Tanner, or Coach Fox, excuse me, say that he was very, very good hitter with 2 strikes. So
with 1 strike, he singles to left. Sabato waved home. We are tied in Chapel Hill. Throw behind at first, and it kicks off the glove of Baldwin. Freeman will stay right there. His 2nd RBI single of the game.
we're just talking about it. His only out is a line out today. Obviously feeling good. Gets a pitch, pulls it in that hole. You see the left fielder come in, try to make a play. He kind of hesitates right there. Does no allow.
Update from Texas Tech, Cody Masters.
And that extends the Texas Tech lead.
That's a 2-run single. Whenever Texas Tech wins a regional, they go on to the College World Series. 5-0 lead over Army. Let's go to Baton Rouge now. Home with the number 13 national seed LSU Tigers. They'll take on Stony Brook later after this game is mercifully over. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Southern Miss with a 15-3 lead over Arizona State. And
put a capper on this
Southern Miss was able to bat around in the 5th, plating 12 runs in an inning that took nearly 50 minutes.
Arizona State was the chic sleeper pick, very popular, and it did not go well in that 5th inning.
To third. Step on the bag for 1. There's the double play to end the game. Only fitting that Southern Miss would put the lid on it. Their 2nd double play of the game. They've done everything right. They've been flawless in the field. They got the great starting performance from Gabe Shepard and all kinds of hitting heroes today, including some unlikely ones, including Storm Cooper, the 9-hole hitter who came in hitting below 200 and promptly hits his first home run of the year. Gets 3 hits on the day, part of a 17-hit barrage.
We talked about that top of the lineup. You had Green with a shot. Grayson Bird. Is it going to stay fair? Of course it is. Why else would we show it to you? 2-run shot. It's 4-2 Tigers.
Grayson Bird, son of Paul Bird, former LSU great and big leaguer, has had a really nice career at Clemson.
All right, let's take you to Louisville now. Indiana, we have tied it up here in the 7th.
It's a huge play in the game.
And that's a new rule in college baseball this year. That, hitters have to do a really good job in an effort to get out of the way. Otherwise,
no, they can freeze. But if you move, if they deem that you moved into the ball, it's a strike. There are no more ball options by the umpire. If they think you went into it, no matter what, they'll call it a strike. Maybe just a
I don't think he leaned into it.
I think that call should stand.
And there has to be indisputable video evidence. I just don't think they're going to see it there.
All right, explain the rule here.
Yeah, so you can. We put the umpires in a bad spot. I hate the new rule, Matt, where now if you either have to give the hitter first base or say that they got hit on purpose and they get a strike called. So even though the ball could be thrown in the batter's box in a clear ball, the umpire's only 2 options are hitter gets first base or it's a strike call. So we've had games end this year where a hit batter is considered struck out. So they're going to give him first base. That's good.
Indiana has 5 runs in. They've scored 7 runs on 6 hits. 5 runs here in the 7th. We're tied.
They have not had a home run in this 5-run comeback. It's been the Illinois State pitching falling apart.
Yeah, and some pretty good at-bats. Houston had a good at-bat. Bradley had a good at-bat, granted that ended in a walk. Dunham had a really good 2-strike base hit up the middle. So, yes, they were been gifted a ton of runners, but we've seen them
bear down and have much better success with 2 strikes.
Brent Hedrick, the starting pitcher for Illinois State. 6 great innings, 14 strikeouts. He will not get the win, and that seems like a shame considering how well the Missouri Valley Conference Pitcher of the Year threw today.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate turn of events for Hedrick, but you know, the bullpen just hadn't been able to answer the bell to this point.
Grant Richardson at the plate, puts it in play. Bouncing ball to the first baseman, Jack Butler. He'll flip to the pitcher covering. And Illinois State is finally out of the inning, but Indiana gets 5.
Let's go to Chapel Hill, where North Carolina has plated a run to tie it at 4. Go ahead, Ron, at first.
That one nearly hit McGee, but it gets away. Another wild pitch thrown by UNCW. And Ike Freeman does get to second base.
I'm starting to think that a lot of these wild pitches that were on the stats are really not based on the catcher's issues. You've seen today a lot of these wild pitches. There's nothing that they've been able to do. I mean, that up and away. Obviously, he's set up down and away to the lefty. Pitch up and in, fastball up and in, tough to catch.
3-2 for McGee. Morgan struck him out.
There's that fastball. Feels like it's a little bit on you harder. It feels harder than what it registers right there. Strike 3. This is their top reliever, and he looks like he's. I mean, look at his presence on the mound. This dude's coming at you.
30th game pitch leads the team. He's thrown in 30 of now their 62. Martirano bats and takes ball 1. Brendan Martirano was the batter with the 3-2 count, 2 outs, and the bases loaded in the 5th when he took a called strike 3 that he thought was low. Held the Carolina lead at 3-1. UNCW scored 3 in the 6th to take the lead. Now the Heels have tied it.
And he's been an absolute wall behind the dish today, blocking it with all parts of his body, even his throat. His throat has even blocked the pitch today. Maybe he can salvage it right here with a knock. I was just a little off to the right. I wish there wasn't a net up here so we can get a little action.
You say that now.
No, I'll say that all the time. Would you, like, if I didn't move my hands up to catch it, how are you responding to that? How's your hand-eye coordination?
My hands are going to be where my eyes are going to be, which is going to be under the table. That's right, almost in the exact spot where Martirano took a called strike 3 to end the 5th, and he's just going to go for a little walk.
The thing is, you can get frustrated here, but he has to understand, one, he's going to go back behind the dish with that umpire, and he's going to want those same calls. That's a big thing as a catcher. It kind of stinks because you really can't get on these umpires as much as you want to. One, you want to stay in the game. You don't want to get thrown out. Two, if I'm complaining about that pitch as a hitter, when I go back there and I catch a ball and I say, hey, where's that pitch? I need that to be a strike. The guy can say, hey, you just complained about it before, the inning before. I shouldn't have called it. It was a ball. And so you got to play that card with the umpire.
2-2.
You got to bite your tongue sometimes. There's a lot of times as a catcher you want to say what you want to say, and believe me, I wanted to say a lot of not nice things to umpires, but you just have to be professional and cordial and work together.
Partly for the good of your morals, partly for strategic purposes.
60-40.
Which way?
Morals, 60.
2-2. Line to center field, base hit Martirano. Here comes Ike Freeman. He will score. North Carolina retakes the lead. The throat feels good, and so does the swing for Brandon Martirano.
There it is. All you need is just a block ball into the throat, and you come up and hit an absolute missile up the middle right there. You'll see this pitch just deposited right back up the middle. 2 outs. You know you're running on contact. Not really worried. He did overthrow that cutoff, which I think that sometimes it's, as a hitter, you get so excited you forget you're celebrating more than being able to take that extra base.
Dylan Harris takes a strike. Another 2-out RBI for North Carolina. 4 of the 5 runs scored today have come with 2 outs.
So next inning, they just want to start with 2.
Psychologically speaking, yes. Shorten the game and increase your offense. It's a win-win. Those 2 runs in the inning charged to Braden Gorham. An inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned, a walk, 2 strikeouts. His final line.
See that take? His front hip right there was pulling off. He's jacked up right now. I would definitely throw him another breaking ball in this situation. There it is.
Beautiful. North Carolina retakes the lead with 2 in the 7th. Sabato walked. Freeman singled him home and scored
After a really tough bottom of the 7th.
Let's go to Louisville now, where Illinois State's not going away, Mike Rooney.
Yeah, this win is not going to come easily for either club.
Your best players come up big in big games if you're going to win them, and that's a really big swing of the bat for Joe Isles now with a couple hits in this ball game.
Brings up Joe Butler, and he fouls the first pitch off. When they first left the bat, it felt like it might have a chance to leave the yard, especially with the wind blowing out, but it sunk down and goes off the fence for a double.
Yeah, he top spun that one a little bit. Certainly had the exit velo to get out of here. Just didn't spin it all that well. But they will take it. Get back up on the positive side of that scoreboard.
We've seen just the 1 home run today, and that was to right center off the bat of Elijah Dunham in the first inning for Indiana. The 2 seed here in this regional, trying to avoid an upset at the hands of the 3 seed Illinois State in the tournament for the first time since 2010, and just the 4th time in program history. Out in front of home plate, the catcher Feynman throws a seed to first. Isles is going to stay at second base, 2 outs.
Nice play right there by Feynman. That was not easy. No. Bare-handed, then threw a bullet.
Studio update for you. We go out to Morgantown. Erickson Nichols picking a fine time for his 2nd home run of the year.
Boy, and that's huge off of Doc Sakis, who's been so good for A&M. I don't know that A&M has 4 runs in them.
3-0 Duke. Duke went into Athens and won the Athens Regional a season ago, hosted by Georgia. And now they're at the host school, West Virginia, the number 15 national seed. 3-0 edge here in the 4th, and a wild pitch for Doc Sakis.
Was looking to get to third base and ball in the dirt, or let's say off the surface. Yes. And that's in itself is a little bit different. Probably a little bit of a hop. I can't comment. I've never seen or played on turf around home plate, so it could be something a little bit different.
There's a strike. Yeah, it's not actual dirt. The infield is synthetic. The only dirt on this field is the mound made of clay. So that's just another synthetic surface around home plate.
Well, Coach Pollard is out there right now, talking to his hitter. And this could be a number of different things. Could be out there just trying to break rhythm, but more than likely it's, just reminding the hitter And what I like to think is don't get beat with the fastball away. So cover your outside pitch. If it's inside, do your best.
Let's see what Doxakis brings here on the 3-2 selection. And it was away, and it's tapped up the third baseline, just a little bit foul. Well, in this sequence here, Spanky, Doxakis spiked a few pitches. It almost seemed like he thought in his mind, I've been throwing too many strikes. And
Let's go to Stanford now. Second and third. Stanford left 2 on in this very same position in the first inning. Now 2 on again. Scoring position here in the third for the number 11 national seed out of the Pac-12.
Bat coming to Will Matheson. Curveball, he got all that one. Out to center field, Grubbs on the move. The warning track makes the catch. Maverick Hanley tags from third. He will score, and Stanford gets on the board first. 1-0 in the bottom of the third.
I'll tell you what, that was a great at-bat and a great battle. He kept coming in there, and then he hangs him one. Grubbs makes a nice play in center field, and Matheson does what you have to do with the man on third, less than 2 outs. You got to pick him up. Hanley cruises in easily. Brandon Wolf gets over to third. That was a great battle.
RBI number 48 for Will Matheson this year. Wolf also tagged. He's at third, and Andrew Dashbach.
Sometimes those at-bats are almost more satisfying than getting a hit because you just battle. He hung him a little pitch on the outside, and he did the right thing with it. You could see their scouting report, right? They're pounding these big righties in.
Show you what's going on where Illinois has scored, has answered the 3 spot that Clemson put up in the top of the third with a run in the bottom of the third. And the Illini here came to play here in this Oxford regional.
Yeah, and Illinois built to win low-scoring close games. They play excellent defense. It's very much a strike-throwing pitching staff, not a lot of out pitches. Hard to know what Clemson is. They had such a good beginning of the year, had a really difficult finish to the year, but they were 6-1 versus Louisville and North Carolina. That kind of carried the day for the resume. They finished the season 9-16 in their last 25 games, Clemson.
10-11 on the road this year as well. Looks like Sacramento State going to get out of that inning with just a 1-run allowed. Let's go to Oxford now. 2 on, 2 out.
He's behind here 0-2. Davidson flips to Green, covering at second, maybe a little closer than they would have liked. 4-3 after 3.
Let's go to Corvallis. Christian Bullock has a 2-run home run for Michigan. That came in the second. They plated another run in the third. 3 hits for each, 3 runs for Michigan. Creighton trying to put something together here. Will Robertson at the plate.
Sideline type stuff, TrackMan. The major colleges are so deep into that as far as the instruction as well. That ball into right, Bullock is there, and he makes the catch. So I think part of what you're saying is in that it's easier to get to the big leagues now. I think part of that is that college players are more prepared for that rise than they were even when you played or back in the dark ages when I played.
The dark ages. I think there's a lot of truth in that. But I also think they rush a little bit because offensively, all those things you're talking about, they come out stronger and they can hit, right? Sometimes they get rushed to the big league, and where they have trouble is how to play a little defense. The speed of the game sometimes is too fast for them, and so they get that 2-week period where they're like, you get up there, and if you don't do well, sometimes you get labeled because some of the fundamental things are getting overlooked, right? But yet, physically, like you said, man, they are ready to go up there and hit. They're strong. They're healthy. And so, yeah, you can tend to have some guys up there that make a lot of base running mistakes. That's what I've seen in the last couple of years, and that can be frustrating for us old-timers, as you say.
Strunts a chopper, leaping catch. That's a fair ball out there. The turn is late by Thomas, but a nice play at third by Nelson to get the out.
You know, I remember this was back in the early 90s with the Phillies, to go to your point as far as strength and so forth. General Manager Lee Thomas came to some of the veterans on that team and sat us down after the 95 season, I think, and actually asked us, hey, fellas, do you think it would be a good idea to get a strength coach maybe periodically? They didn't even have it, right, at that point. None. Within a couple of years, of course, you've seen strength guys all up and down the big leagues, and now you see the incredible strength stuff that they do at all of these colleges to go along with the technology that you're talking about.
Jordan Hovey fights that fastball off. That's one of the decks here at Goss Stadium, down the left field line and down the right field line. This is one of the more unique venues in college baseball. Jacoby Ellsbury, one of the many Beavers that have given back to the program.
It's a ballpark that is, excuse me, I should say the university's had baseball for a long time. If you go back 20, 30, 40 years, a long time, the only thing that is still here in this park after all the renovation is home plate. Home plate is in the original position when baseball started here, with chain link fence and bleachers and honey buckets, you name it. But everything has been upgraded and built around that.
It's the first honey bucket reference I think we've had in the tournament.
Hey, you know you've made it when you get rid of your honey buckets.
Well, I haven't seen one in a long time around here. Now that's, of course, Pat Casey, the incredible run that he's had here. And he stepped aside after last year, 2 back-to-back national championships and then a 3rd last year. That's his party deck down the right field line. Jesse Franklin is there, makes the catch. Creighton is done in the inning. Ed Service, head coach of Creighton, joins us in a moment.
All right, let's go to Louisville here, and again, catch you up to speed on the bracket. Campbell with a 5-4 lead on NC State. They're in the bottom of the 9th. They've been in the bottom of the 9th for about 90 minutes.
That lightning will not go away, apparently.
That is in Greenville, North Carolina.
Quinnipiac. Yep, the Bobcats.
So I did it right.
You did it right.
Appreciate that. The Bobcats. They a hockey school?
They are a hockey school. In fact, they have a national championship to their credit.
Can I see how I knew that? I could just tell the fondness in your voice when you said their name.
Pop up. Left side. This is a tough play for the shortstop. And the left fielder, Peterson, is going to get there to make the play. So 2 fly ball outs here in the Indiana 8th.
Well, you're right. It was going to be a tough play for Huggins, the shortstop, but for Peterson, it was relatively routine. I just don't think he was very vocal. I think Huggins didn't hear him, and so, look, he's telling him right now, hey, man, let me know. I'm killing myself trying to get underneath that ball, and you got it wrapped up. It'd be nice to hear your voice. That's pop-up communication, such a valuable part of team defense in the game of baseball.
So Ashley and Crail are retired quickly. And it seems that Steve Holm, the Illinois State head coach, has found a reliever that can get the job done.
Yeah, and Dalton Harvey, not your conventional big right-hander out of the bullpen. I think that fastball's at 86, and he's throwing a bunch of those changeups about 78 miles an hour. Just kind of an unorthodox arm motion.
Matt Lloyd is going to be called back by Jeff Mercer to have a chat. Matt Lloyd today, a walk, a run scored in the 1st, struck out looking in the 3rd, walked and was stranded in the 6th, and had an RBI walk and run scored in the 7th. So he has had some really good at-bats today.
Something tells me, Matt Lloyd's your senior hitter, who's coach has already said has the best approach of everybody on the team. Something tells me that meeting was about letting the bullpen get loose and trying to slow the game down. More so than it was there's nobody on and 2 outs, right? I mean, you don't see a whole lot of offensive timeouts in scenarios like that.
And of course, Matt Lloyd is their closer. They only use him in save situations, however. So you'd think Indiana would have to get the lead for us to see Lloyd on the mound. Matt Lloyd, 16 homers on the year. And look at that wind blowing out to right center. You get anything elevated, and the jet stream is going to carry it.
Yeah, if it's up with good spin, it's going to go.
The 1-2. And it's been that way since the start of the game. And I think the forecast is going to be continued pleasantness. No rain really to worry about tonight. I would expect that the wind will be blowing out for Louisville and UIC coming up later. Scheduled start time for that one, 6 p.m., but that's not going to happen as this game is running a little long. And so what we'll see is about an hour break between games. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball called strike 3. Lloyd is upset. Dalton Harvey gets a huge third out in the 8th as Indiana is retired in.
Oh, big out there for the Redbirds of Illinois State. Tweet at us with the hashtag Bases Loaded. David Lamb, this is my favorite TV weekend of the year. Thanks, Bases Loaded, for making it a great way to stay up with everything and the best college playoff system around. Mike Morgan, our buddy. I've often pondered the meaning of life. I don't have all the answers, but I have one. Bases Loaded with the professor, Mike Rooney, is good for the American soul. Hashtag Road to Omaha.
Hashtag pondered.
And then financial guru Greg, who's always good for tweets every year. Mike Rooney, Matt Schick are true heroes of mine. There's a reason why they are wealthier than me. Financial guru Greg. Keep plugging away.
Yeah, do what you can, Greg.
Those municipal bonds. Hashtag Bases Loaded. Hashtag Road to Omaha. Bases Loaded rolls on. All 16 regional sites in action, but one of them has been delayed. That is ugly. That is ugly. NC State and Campbell, that's home of the number 10 national seed, East Carolina Pirates. They're going to take on Quinnipiac after this game is over. Hard to play with a tarp on the field, Mike.
Yeah, and that weather needs to do better because that's going to be a great crowd in Greenville. They had this last year where these great crowds they had planned were kind of sidebarred by weather, so let's fix that, Matt. What can you do about that?
We can get to a sunnier game.
Well,
here we go.
Okay.
This is my fix. Just ignore the problems there in Greenville. One out now, bottom of the 4th. Clemson with a 4-3 lead on the Illini at Oxford.
That's a wow play right there. I didn't know if Hawkins was going to get in the way, but I mean, look at it. He gobbles it up and just showcases the arm. And you're right, that will make the scouts drool. That's why he's going to hear his name on that first day in the first round. And I talk about that's the biggest thing that the game. I mean, double-digit home runs is all 3 years. Double-digit steals. He's a guy who can run and hit. The glove, what would the glove be? And as every single year, he's gotten better and better with the glove.
Out to center field. Teodosio makes the catch. 2 down. ESPN Networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage this weekend. ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network, and ESPN3, plus whip-around coverage available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage coming to you through the ESPN app. Which shortly after the zipper and white bread might be the greatest invention of all time.
The zipper and white bread.
I mean, if there's anything that you could have invented, the zipper would have been a good one to have your name on.
You're right. Shorts, jeans, everything you can think of that you're putting around.
A lot of zippers. Coats.
Oh, true. I didn't even think of the jackets.
White bread, I don't know. Maybe you're a wheat bread guy.
No.
Or you were eating earlier. You're a no bread guy.
Well, that's just because I wanted to eat 2 hamburgers.
The trade-off. Michael Massey.
I'm definitely not afraid to eat bread.
Shift is all on for the left-handed hitter Massey. Fouls a couple off. 2-2. Bases empty. Talk with Dan Hartleb. You see him tucked away there in the corner of the dugout when we come back. Massey hits into the shift. It's fielded by Green over to Bird, and Illinois goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fourth.
Let's go to Louisville. 8-7 Illinois State here in the ninth.
Got him. I'll tell you what, Feynman for a big man moves pretty well, but the bunt is good by Huggins, gets it done. Butler to third.
Well, with 2 strikes, he finally gets it done, and Feynman does a fantastic job. Look at the communication, call his pitcher off, and then a strike when he needed one to Bradley to retire Huggins. And now the much-needed extra run just 90 feet away, and they're going to go look at this one, I guess, Clay.
So I'm going to go put the headset on and get in contact with the NCAA Video Review Center. It was a bang-bang play at first. And Huggins, who moves pretty well. Did he beat this out?
I tell you what, Scotty Bradley, who had started to charge, look how far back on the base he is. I think they get him anyway, but see how he's on the furthest back side of the bag, so that made that play closer than it needed to be, but I think they got it right.
Go to Corvallis. Creighton, one of those sleeper teams. They have yet to wake up. Jordan Wogu with a home run.
Wogu is a monster. Could have played college football, chose baseball instead. Super physical athlete and has had a really nice year for Michigan.
Wogu with the 11th of the season for him. And a 4-0 lead for Michigan over the Fighting Ed Services of Creighton. We'll go back to Louisville.
Most important thing is Indiana gets the out. And for Illinois State, the most important thing was that the sacrifice was successful. There at third base now is Jack Butler. And an insurance run for the Redbirds would be huge going to the bottom of the ninth. Trying to get into the winner's bracket tomorrow. Summers pitches a breaking ball in for a strike to John Rave, who's got a couple of bingos today. One in the first, one in the sixth. And if Indiana can keep this at 1 run with that brutal offense that they have to deal with, that really hasn't come unleashed today. We did see the 1-2 run homer, but we have not seen them string hits together today. And they've certainly got that capability, and they've got a lot of capability for extra base hits and home runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of new school baseball. A lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts. But they did get a few big hits in that 7th inning.
Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2 now to Rave. Looking ahead to the Indiana 9. It will be 4, 5, and 6 due up. Dunham, Barr, and Bradley. But Barr has struck out 4 times today. He's 0 for 4. Louisville and UIC getting ready. See the Cardinals down the line there and enjoying this one. Before their game tonight against the Flames, the champs of the Horizon Tournament.
I'm expecting a monster crowd for that one.
All right, we got 2 games in the top of the 9th. Illinois State with that 8-7 lead. North Carolina with a 5-4 lead. UNC Wilmington with the leadoff batter of the inning on base in a critical situation here for Mike Fox and his Tar Heels.
Tar Heels are way deep into the bullpen. See Love in the game, and they have used everybody. UNCW has given them everything they wanted and more.
Austin Love on the mound, the 4th pitcher of the game. Tyler Baum, the starter, went 5 1/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts.
For Dan McDonald, this is it. It's about conference championships and getting to Omaha, so that the journey starts this evening.
And
for that group.
North Carolina,
Remembered with the
last 2 times they won the ACC tournament, they made the College World Series back in 2007 and in 2013. ACC tournament champs clinging to a 5-4 lead.
So they're happy to be back home hosting a regional for the 8th time in the last 11 years. Swung out and missed. Uncomfortable looking swing there from Parola, who hasn't had many of those today.
Listening to the audio of Clay Matvick there doing the play-by-play in Louisville along with Chris Burke.
A couple of runs batted in.
Yeah, Sommer is making these
long
guys
travel
look
day
bad
for
with
Chris
that
Burke.
changeup. Somebody that's seeing the ball.
Just weird how Ray randomly got put in the Louisville regional. It's awesome. Sometimes you get lucky.
Gets to sleep in his own bed, unlike Illinois State and Indiana.
And then try to get to third base as well.
Now we've got the audio of what's going on in Chapel
Brown,
Hill.
1 for 4 with a first inning single.
Kevin Brown
First
doing the
team all
play-by-play.
conference. Another check.
Hard to know what to make of the Chapel Hill regional. You knew the UNCW would be a very formidable opponent for North Carolina. Hard to know who North Carolina is day to day, and Liberty in there with Tennessee's pitching. Hard one to figure out.
Transferred to Spartanburg Methodist Junior College. Strike 1.
Could be an all ACC super regional if North Carolina gets out of there. Georgia Tech gets out of the Atlanta regional. Georgia Tech will take on Florida A&M a little bit later on.
Celebration of a teammate's home run, slipped to the 10th round.
And Illinois State with that 8-7 lead as they go to the bottom of the ninth. They're 3 outs away from winning their first NCAA tournament opener for the first time since 1976.
Wow.
It's
Chapel Hill now.
Injuries a couple of times. He's found himself at 3 different colleges. None of that matters right now. He finds himself up as the go-ahead run in the ninth. Pitch out for ball 1.
Well, when you throw strike 1, you're able to kind of mess around and try to guess right and see if you can get a free out, but we got to see Greg Jones. You know, you got that speed. You need to get in the scoring position to help that team out. And he's a special kind of player. He can do that. He can change the game.
Jones on the move, and Martirano does not throw. Strike 2. Tying run to second.
But that's what speed does. You see Martirano right there he tries to speed up his transfer, and that's what happens. He bobbled his transfer. When guys are that fast, that's the kind of pressure that you put on people. If he does that first pitch, you know, again, this if, but when you're that kind of special speed, I want to see you just run. That's what I would like to see.
1-2 on Brown. And he chased strike 3, but the ball gets away. This goes into the North Carolina dugout. Brown is on at first. Jones is over at third. And UNCW is going to have runners at the corners with 1 out. It has been an afternoon of wild pitches galore on both sides at huge moments. This one as big as any.
That's a tough breaking ball in the dirt right there. You got to make that block. I mean, but here's the thing: you have to make that block, but you also have to have the quick memory of just, I'm done. Next pitch, because there's the tying runs on third base right now, and I got to go back to being the wall. This is one of the better defenders behind the dish.
And by the way, Jones had not yet touched third when the ball went in the dugout. Here's Bridges, and there's a ground ball to second base. McGee bobbles it. Tie game.
He looked at the runner before he caught the ball. He tried to make the play before he caught the ball, and it ended up backfiring on him. Coaches used to always say you can't have 2 outs before you get the first one. You see, he checks out this runner here, you know, and trying to make things happen. He knows that he has to get this double play. You don't have much time. Rhodes can run. Or Bridges can run, excuse me.
Fielder's choice E4. Another RBI for Bridges. Here's Brooks Baldwin in a tie game, and first we'll get a visit to the mound from Robert Woodard, the North Carolina pitching coach.
Gotta love the regionals. Maybe not if
The
you're
Seahawks plate a run, and you were mentioning it.
defense.
Second base defense in particular. Remember, Ashton McGee, who made that error, has played outfield a lot of his career. Now, he played infield as a high school and travel ball player, but Ike Freeman, who you see there right next to Robert Woodard, he was their shortstop last year. Danny Soretti, the freshman, had played second base. They moved both of those guys to the left side of the infield, and just that has been a real challenge for Mike Fox in North Carolina, is finding a solid defense.
2 errors on the day for North Carolina. And the go-ahead run 180 feet away. Elsewhere, Illinois State up 8-7 in the 9th. Illinois State 2 outs away from winning their regional opener. Keep you updated there. And Duke with a 4-1 lead on Texas A&M. A&M with a runner in scoring position in Morgantown. We'll keep it here in Chapel Hill.
3 batters have reached, none on a hit. Hit by pitch, steal, strikeout, wild pitch, now fielder's choice and an error. Brooks Baldwin with 2 on. The freshman in his first regional action takes a ball.
The old Seahawks chant getting pretty loud right now.
There's a good traveling party that's come down from Wilmington. 3rd meeting between these two this year. 77th all time. Not many of the previous 76 were this much fun. Baldwin into right field for Roberts. He makes the catch and will hold the runners with a good throw.
And keep our eye on what's going on in Chapel Hill. Illinois State 2 outs away from winning its NCAA tournament opener for the first time since 1976. Bottom 9, 1 out, an 8-7 lead for the Redbirds out of the Missouri Valley Conference.
A couple knocks, a couple hits.
Scotty Bradley at the plate for Indiana. Big Ten regular season champs.
Both of these games have been really competitive. Neither team been able to separate from the other.
Via the walk.
North Carolina, they won their home regional and super last year, but remember 2 years ago, that was who Davidson took down.
That's a strike, and Zoris couldn't find it. So Barr is safe at second with an aggressive stolen base here in the 9th.
Just 4 bags on the season, and credit Jeff Mercer. He's not going to sit around and hope for an extra base hit. Playing aggressively, sends Cole Barr, and now the tying run moves into scoring position.
For Illinois State, by the way, Brent Hedrick got the start, career-high 14 Ks.
Wow.
Today for the Redbirds, stepping up big in the regional opener.
Love it. We've seen a bunch of coaches stealing bases in the 9th inning of games today, where sometimes you swallow the whistle and kind of try to disappear, and I like it. Bigger the game, more aggressive you want to be.
And now the Hoosiers are down to their last out.
2 outs in both of these games here. North Carolina trying to keep it tied at 5.
12 innings all season long and gets the ball in a huge situation. That changeup's just nasty. Bradley, who's actually been
There's Thorburn at the plate.
As well as anybody, did not have a punch out.
For UNC Wilmington.
Goes down.
Bridges standing on first, Brown on second. And Brown might score.
Away from a huge Game 1 victory.
Oh, and he's out.
Houston for the
they might need to look.
An RBI single, his first plate appearance. Strike 1.
Brown trying to score from second. Mike, before you see the replay, make the call. Stop line. Make the call.
I don't know if his foot got to the base. I think his foot beat the tag, but I don't know if his foot, when you slide, sometimes your foot's off the ground.
Yeah.
I think his foot beat the tag, but did he touch home plate?
In the NCAA tournament.
You got to send him, though. 2 outs, you absolutely have to send him. Nice piece of hitting, too.
Stays up. Ball and a strike.
Not a great angle. Gonna need a better angle.
I'd argue worst possible angle.
Two-run homer from Dunham in the first. Didn't get a hit again.
Message to the
Dunham
truck, get a better angle.
17 strikeouts.
It's a great angle of the umpire looking at the flag.
But a base hit would tie it. The 1-1 to Houston. Called strike.
Looking at it again.
And he's safe at third.
Look at his foot get down.
And so now the tying run just 90
Ooh.
feet away.
Runes.
He'd tug him on the back foot.
I don't think you can see by the
Can you overturn it, though?
let him have it. They are worried about the hitter right now.
Not a great slide. Oh, I think he's safe.
Third. Now that being said,
But can you overturn it, like you said?
We got ourselves a tie ball game.
He tags him in the thigh of the back leg. Oh, yeah,
he's in there.
He's in there.
Let you steal third, take it.
Oh, boy, that's going to be a tough overturn.
Is it conclusive that his foot was on the base?
I think the combination of both looks tells you that he's safe, because from the other angle, you could see the tag was deep into his body.
Just their fourth national tournament appearance of broke.
North Carolina, by the way, entered the NCAA tournament with a 36-2 record when leading after 8 innings this season.
Boy, if that call stands, that's some real good fortune for North Carolina. He sure seems safe.
And Illinois State has done it. And safe is the call. The right call is made. 8-7 Illinois State. 6-5 UNC Wilmington in the 9th. Wow. Congrats to the Redbirds. The Seahawks still have some work to do.
The freshman designated hitter stands as the hero for the UNCW Seahawks.
His third hit, you say that when you come up to the plate and you got 2 hits already, that you feel good. The pressure is a little different. If you're 0 for 3 coming up, but I said it before he came up, he had 2 knocks already before that at bat. It makes a difference.
Thorburn scored the game-winning run in the CAA title game, and he may well knock in the game-winning run to open the regional. By the way, Noah Bridges took third on that play, and he's there for Noah Lyles, who takes ball 1. And that may be an awfully consequential base-running move with the way we've seen baseballs scattered about behind the plate.
And North Carolina coming up, with their 2, 3, 4 hitters next inning. UNCW definitely wants to get a little bit of a cushion, because that 1 run, that's scary with that part of the lineup.
There is action. The Seahawk bullpen might not be Morgan in the 9th. Big swing by Lyles, 2-1. Noah Lyles with a sac bunt, sac fly, single, and a strikeout. And he chased a close pitch for strike 2. Two runs in the 9th inning, 1 hit, a hit batsman, an error, a strikeout, wild pitch. A rally stitched together with whole cloth and wire. Nice swing there by Lyles to fight off a 2-strike pitch. Two. Strike 3, inning over. Chapel Hill and Wilmington are separated by about 150 miles. Feels a hole.
And separated by 1 run there. We'll get you back to Chapel Hill. Tommy Delgado in LA, RBI single. Loyola Marymount, LMU with a lead on Baylor.
Such a great year for LMU. They've been so close so many times, finally break through the NCAA tournament under Jason Gill.
West Coast Conference champs, their first tournament appearance in 19 years, and looking to stay for a little while. Michigan with a 5-0 lead on Creighton. Texas Tech has a no-hitter going through 5 innings. We'll keep you updated there as they extend their lead. They're up 6-0 on Army. Duke with a 4-1 lead on Texas A&M. A rough start for Mr. Doxakis of the Aggies.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% would go pro. That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
You're watching ESPN Bases Loaded, presented by Capital One.
Loyola Marymount with a 3-1 lead on Baylor after winning the West Coast Conference tournament. The only reason they got into that conference tournament is because at the end of the year, Pepperdine won its final series against St. Mary's. Had that not happened, they wouldn't have gotten into that conference tournament, and they wouldn't be here today.
One of the most underrated baseball leagues in the country. It is always so competitive. It was really disappointing to see BYU not get into the NCAA tournament. But again, Loyola Marymount lost in the championship at the WCC in 15 and 16, won the regular season in 17, but lost in the tournament. Finally broke through this year. A little good fortune going their way.
Beat St. Mary's in 10 innings to win the conference tournament. A 3-1 advantage right now in the 6th against Baylor out of the Big 12.
Strike, and it's 0-2. You see Langoliers right there. He's frustrated, obviously, with Jeff Head, the home plate umpire. But, Roxy, they're strikes, but they're just perfectly thrown strikes on the outside part.
Lofton, the runner at first base.
Yeah. But this is how Lofton got a hit. He leaned out with on a 2-strike pitch away and feathered it up the middle.
Fought off by Langoliers, and the count holds 0-2.
Now you saw Paiva word that was a fastball. It's in. I mean, you like that. He hasn't thrown many fastballs in. Does he double up and go back in, or does he sit on the outside part? My guess is he stays away now.
Langoliers, dangerous hitter, and a guy on Monday will get drafted. He'll get drafted very high. He's still on the board in the middle of the first round. Somebody's getting a good one then toward the latter half.
I think he'll be gone before 15.
80th pitch for Cody Paiva. Moved to first base first. Second best catcher, college baseball, Langoliers. Is he the 1B to Rutschman being the 1A at Oregon State?
Well, I think he's B. I think Adley Rutschman is the Andrew Luck of college baseball, for better words. I don't think we've had a prospect like Rutschman behind the dish in a long, long, long time.
1-2. Langoliers rips it towards short, speared by Sogard to second. Lambo the turn, 2. Double play.
Some defense there, some offense here. Aaron Sabato, ACC Freshman of the Year. Oh, he's big, and he comes up big.
Wow.
Solo shot, his 15th of the year. That makes it 6-6. North Carolina needed a run to tie it. They've got it. Now a run will win it here in the 9th.
He could not close out a 6-5 win over North Carolina.
And I thought it was crazy looking at his numbers. For throwing as hard as he does, he's only struck out 22 guys in 31 innings. So you know that, hittable.
And he walks Serretti. North Carolina has the winning run on with nobody out. What a game.
What a game.
Wow. Man, if they do not want this weather to come for sure.
And we're being given an announcement right now.
shelter and begin moving shelter at this time.
Wow. So we're not stopping the game right now, but the National Weather Service has told the crowd as a precaution to seek shelter. You can hear by the reaction of the crowd that they're fine in their seats. This is their shelter.
Yeah, I don't think that they're, doesn't look like they're headed for shelter. Unless shelter is standing up and waving your arms and clapping and screaming.
The weather gods are being tempted right now.
Oh my goodness.
You can hardly make this stuff up. Ike Freeman will try to win the game. He's driven in 2 runs already. Instead, he'll look to bunt and take ball 1. Cleanup hitter. 2 RBI singles, a walk, and a hard line out. But it looks like North Carolina is going to have him bunt. Now what do you do?
I mean, if I'm North Carolina, I'm going to still try to bunt right here because I just want to get that winning run to second base. Anything can happen.
Even on 2-0.
Even on 2-0 right now. But what I feel like there's a little storybook ending happening. Ashton McGee on deck. He had that little blunder at second base.
Freeman squares. Whoa, look out. Oh my goodness, we are now under a lightning delay. There is lightning within the area. Ike Freeman's looking for somebody to argue with to plead his case, but we're going to have to go inside for a mandatory lightning delay with a 3-0 count on Ike Freeman and the winning run on first in the 9th.
Matchstick Mike Rooney. That's incredible.
First of all, Aaron Sabato is ridiculous. I mean, that's a true freshman hitter who just first pitch of the inning goes monster bomb. And we thought if we avoided Florida regionals, Matt, there would be no problems.
That's right. First time since 06.
Correct.
That we have not had a regional in the state of Florida. And then now it's North Carolina doing us in. Greenville, North Carolina, we've got issues. We've got a weather delay. And now in Chapel Hill.
Hashtag be better North Kakalaki. Let's go.
I like when they said, please seek shelter. And the fans like, sure, I got your shelter right here. It's called clapping.
Yes, that's right.
Got to make our own thunder. Bottom of the 9th. How about in Lubbock? 8-0 Texas Tech for the number 8 national seed. Taking on Army.
And there's one team in this game that has not recorded something, which you're not supposed to say out loud, even though you've done it 3 times already.
I have done it, and I apologize. Texas Tech, it's amazing. 8 runs on no hits.
Their last 21 games. You factor it the way that it's scored, and you add on the run total for today. It's 156 to 61. So almost outscoring the opposition by 100 runs in 20-plus games. One turned foul by Klein, who had a 2-run double back in the second. So we just added the math a little bit to add the 8 runs for today. But 16 of their last 20, and you add the 8 onto that. The numbers are just remarkable, winning 10 of their last 11 in conference, and the Big 12 regular season title as well, eliminated by West Virginia. And no shame in that, as the Mountaineers have parlayed a great season into hosting a regional in Morgantown this year.
That's what makes it so great. You can have your struggles early in the season, but if you get hot like this Texas Tech team has, they won their way into a number 8 seed nationally to be able to host a region here at home and possibly a super regional if they win this one.
And they'd meet up with the winner of the Oklahoma City regional, so potentially a rematch if Oklahoma State emerges the victor among the 4 teams there of their regular season series. That was a 3-game sweep for Texas Tech over the Cowboys. Two is a swing and a miss, strike 3. And there goes Klein for the second out of the inning.
Really good changeup. Lovico right there. Side arm comes from a different angle. And got some depth on it, that changeup.
Threat's not over yet because Josh Young is the batter. He walked last time up in the 4th.
Just missed hitting one to the moon in the 2nd.
So Army has yet to get a base hit. They've had 2 on, but Micah Dallas, the freshman, has flummoxed them so far. Meanwhile, Texas Tech hitting an out of this world 500 and 750 with 2 out. Where they've scored 5 of their 8 runs.
Well, that's demoralizing for any team when you're 1 out away from getting out of it. Now all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard, you're down to 6-0, and 5 of them have come with those 2 outs.
And everybody 1 through 9 on the lineup card for Tim Tadlock has a base hit, with the exception of Kurt Wilson, the number 7 hitter. The sophomore is 0 for 2, but he still has come around to score after he walked in the 3rd. So everybody's been productive. Shift goes on to the left side of the infield. No impact for Young, who hasn't seen much of anything to swing at in his last 2 plate appearances. Cameron Warren comes into this regional. Division 1 or D1Baseball.com says the best hitter in this regional. Senior on this roster. We had 5 leave last year. 6 more went pro. He got drafted in the 39th round out of high school and has done a lot to make a name for himself this year.
So when they had senior day here, they took it seriously, but just 1 senior. The count doesn't get to Cameron Warren. He's a pure hitter. Very seldom chases balls out of the zone.
Takes the 0-2, pounds it into the ground. A long way to go for Jaquin at 3rd. But the Red Raiders leave the bases loaded.
Got an update for you. We're heading out west to the Stanford Regional. Maverick Hanley. Maverick requesting flyby solo shot. 5-0 there. And then Kyle Stowers. That's not him at the plate. That's him in left.
Oh my goodness! He made the catch.
How do you feel about the fist pump after you did it yourself?
Love it. Like, don't like it. I love it. Well done.
5-0 Stanford. We head to Morgantown, where the story of the day has been the fact that John Doxakis has been roughed up a little bit for Texas A&M. He threw 8 no-hit innings in the SEC tournament. Now he's allowed 4 runs. He's only allowed 4 runs once this year. It was in the first week of May. Now he's doing it here at the end of May.
And 5 zeros he's put up in just 1 inning where Duke got after him, and that's about all the opportunities you're going to get against a guy like Doxakis. But with the way the A&M offense has struggled, 4-1 is a very big lead.
8 strikeouts here for Doc Sakis. 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned coming in the 4th.
He's now pitching and not throwing versus being conventional, throwing the breaking ball to one side, the fastball in. You know, this right here, again, it just gets him in that mind frame that, you know, I'm out here to get people out, just not throw it towards home plate.
Full count on Taylor. .101 pitches from Doc Sakis, and this is the 8th of this at bat, and he foul tip into the glove of Honer, and that's a strikeout.
It's all about location. We saw Docs get touched up for the home run on a pitch that was middle in. They had a very good breaking ball, call a back foot slider. Comes in looking like a heater, ends up by your back foot. It's too late.
Mervis, the liner, and to his left. Deloach makes the late adjustment and makes the catch. A loud third out there, and they go in order in the Duke 7th. It's time to stretch here, game 1 in Morgantown.
On.
All right, from there we go to Lubbock, another Big 12 host site, Texas Tech, 8-0 lead. We're in the first inning, and we're not going to be jinxing anything here. All we're going to say is that, well, you can read it for yourself.
The Big 12 all-freshman team, a unanimous pick for that. And gets a big honor here by getting called on to start this game, but he's yet to allow a hit through 5 1/3. And the NCAA tournament hasn't seen a no-hitter in 7 years. Urtubise is grounded out to first and struck out. Liner up the middle, and that's the first base hit of the day for Army. 5 1/3 no-hit innings for Micah Dallas, and the crowd recognizes that immediately.
Well, that would scare you. The crowd understood what was going on. You can smile about it now. What's this? Right back at Mike Dallas. Look out. Had the glove up. It's not a comforting feeling when that's all you see is that ball coming right back at you.
I think there was a moment of anguish where he said, all right, I'm glad I'm all right. And then immediate disappointment that he'd given up his first base hit. Also, it happens to be to the speediest member of the Army squad.
Nearly lost the no-hitter with a no-header. All right. Everyone just calm down. Davis Wenzel, Big 12 Co-Player of the Year, is up now for Baylor.
Yeah, you would think he's from, I don't know, the country in Texas. Baylor's a Texas school. That's not where he's from, Matt. He's from Orange County.
You're talking about two guys
with that get up, yes. Yeah. And he is a fantastic player.
What did I say yesterday?
Went to J. Sayre High School, was teammates with Royce Lewis, the first pick of the Twins a couple years ago, and Chase Strumpf, second baseman at UCLA, and boy, he has been a great player at Baylor.
Yeah, he felt that it was kind of a slap in the face to be put in the UCLA regional, which in their opinion kind of felt like they were the worst 2 seed. Because UCLA is the best 1 seed. It's not necessarily how it works, but you felt they were better than that.
Yeah, Baylor 4 weeks ago, they were a team you were talking about maybe hosting if they could win the Big 12, which they lost by 1 game.
Led the Big 12 with a month to play, finished second, and now they're down 2 in the 7th.
Out in front of the off-speed. What a great changeup right there. You know, I don't know. I can't tell you. I think he'll be gone.
Top 5 rounds?
I think he'll be gone before 3.
Okay.
You're done with the 3rd round.
Look, offensively, he leads the Big 12 in hitting, but he's tremendous defensively as well. He's got that all-around game. 2-2. Fought off by Wenzel.
Well, when you look at Steve Rodriguez's lineup, he has the luxury of Shea Langoliers behind the dish. He has obviously Wenzel at third base. He's got a great defensive club out there. He's got Cunningham in center field. I mean, these guys catch it as we take a look at their ranks right there offensively. But Wenzel is a guy you just plug in, and you never have to worry about him ever again. You know he's going to be fundamentally sound and play the game the right way.
2-2 pitch. Wenzel skies it, slicing. This is going toward the LMU bullpen and running out of room, and it hits the light tower over there and bounces back toward the field of play as Trevin Esquerra was over at the railing and then looked up when he saw it hit the pole and come back. So, of course, once it hits the light tower, it's out of play.
Why were you looking at me when you said that?
Just making sure that you knew.
That's what I thought. I mean, it's just abuse in the booth. Jeez.
2 balls, 2 strikes in Wenzel. 1 down, bottom of the 7th. Paiva delivers, and Wenzel swings in a drive. Left center field. Oyama over toward deep left center, shy of the track, and that one just died out there. And they're 2 away, and this is the ballpark, and you and I, Wes, have done a number of games here over the years, and the majority of the time, the ball just does not carry here at Jackie Robinson Stadium. More so at night than during the day.
You are correct, Roxy. For whatever reason, in the daytime, you don't see it, but Oyama literally was playing like 2 steps from the track when Wenzel, and he's still there, Rox.
2 outs, nobody on. 10 flyouts for Paiva. As Cole Herring 0 for 1 with a sacrifice takes a strike, and again, he leads Baylor in homers on the year. He's got 10. Nobody aboard, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, and you get that marine layer that rolls in. We're not too far from the ocean. Mileage-wise, traffic-wise, a different story.
Enough with the traffic.
It's a Friday afternoon.
You have traffic up in the other state in California, Northern California, too. I mean, that's just drop it. You got traffic up there. Enough.
1-1 to Herring. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike.
But, I am a little bit surprised in the defensive alignment of the outfielders at LNU right now, Roxy. But me, personally, with 2 outs, I could care less.
That's the 405, by the way, right now.
Okay. And what's your point? Look
There's
at
traffic.
You know what? People are having fun. It's Friday. They're going home. There's no they're done.
Should be coming to the ballpark.
Oh, maybe they are.
2-1 pitch. Line to left off the bat of Herring, coming in a late break, but it hangs up there for Kenny Oyama. 1, 2, 3 go the Bears in the bottom of the 7th through 7.
All right, time for us to direct some traffic here. Clemson 4-3 lead on Illinois. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The Fighting Illini, first appearance since 2015 when they won a regional title, advanced to the Supers, and need a run here to tie this up. We're in the 6th.
Illinois got the tying run in scoring position. Van Scoy gets down to 2nd, and Dodge does his job.
Yeah, so we talked about he's at the top of the strike zone. You see the ball down, you go down with it. It's so much easier to go down than it is to go up, and successful sacrifice. That's the Illini way right there.
Four sacrifice bunts this year and 14 plate appearances for Casey Dodge.
That's why he's the pinch bunter.
Yep.
Or designated bunter, I guess, since he's in the designated hitter spot.
Which probably makes it all the more frustrating when he popped one up early in the game.
He knows, like, this is my game. This is what I do. I am the bunter.
And Scoy out at 2nd. Jeff Cordy getting his first at bat of the game, left-hander against the right-hander Davis Sharp. Cordy, as a freshman, played at the University of South Florida. Last year started 47 games as the catcher, so certainly no stranger to that spot. All in 2 strikes to Cordy. This ball lifted over the shortstop's head. Cordy just kind of pokes it out into center field. Logan Davidson tried to time his jump, just couldn't get quite high enough.
Yeah, good piece of hitting by Cordy and even better base running by Van Scoy. Line drive, Davidson looked like he might have had a chance to catch it. So Van Scoy had to hold up. That's why we're looking at first and third and not a tie ball game.
And a meeting on the mound for Clemson. It's Andrew C., the pitching coach. He goes out for the mound visits. It's only when they're going to make a change that Monty Lee comes out. Owen Griffith is throwing in the bullpen, the right-hander for Clemson.
Sam Weatherly, number 22, also just popped up. You are starting to see more now. Teams are starting to, the pitching coach does both. Like we just mentioned, that pitching coach C does the first visit, and then when Coach Monty Lee comes out there and takes him out, Illinois, on the other hand, lets Drew Dickinson go out there for both of them to get pitchers and switch. And a lot of times you're starting to see that. And Coach Hartley goes, why would I go out there? What am I going to be able to tell this pitcher? The pitching coach knows what he needs to tell him, what he needs to work on, how we're going to attack these guys. So you're starting to see more teams go to that mindset.
Top of the lineup for Illinois, Brandon Comia, first and third, one down. Illinois trailing 4-3. Comia doubled the opposite way into the right center field gap. And the bottom of the first inning, he had an RBI single in the second. Flew out to center in the fourth.
How about that triple, Mr. Comia? Put me one down the right field line. Let's see the speed.
Ball gets past the catcher, thought about it, but not going to try it. Van Scoy slams on the brakes at third. Wasn't sure that it was far enough away to score. And you certainly don't want to make the second out of the inning at home.
Absolutely not, especially when you got a guy that's already got 2 hits, couple RBI already. Trust your hitter. Because, you don't know if that ball, how fast it's rolling, if it does stop, and all of a sudden you're caught in no man's land. Gave yourself up and out.
Two to Comia. Takes it low for ball 3. Brandon Comia 2 for 3 in the ball game. The recipe for for Illinois to score runs today has been get the leadoff man on base. They did it in the first, second, and third innings, scored single runs in all 3 of those. In the fourth and the fifth, couldn't pull that off. Here in the 6th inning, leadoff single by Grant Van Scoy. We'll see if they're able to get him home and tie this game.
A lot of the recipe is have Brendan Comia on the base or at the plate, because he's been a big part of it, and he's got a big opportunity right here.
Scored 1 and has driven in 1. He watched that pitch out of the zone, a 3-1 walk. And now Michael Massey will come to the plate, 0 for 3 in the game. With the bases loaded and 1 out, his team trailing by a run in the bottom of the 6th.
This is the guy we talked about in the open, is their guy. He's their leader. He's the best player, the prospect they have, is who you want up, bases loaded. Only has 3 at-bats this year and bases loaded, so he's 0 for 3 in that part, so he's looking to break out big.
Big swing and a miss for Michael Massey.
We're all up and down the Big Ten ranks right there. And who knows, man? You got to think that back injury might have played a little bit of play, and if he couldn't play the field, you'd think it would affect a little bit of the hitting, but hitting 325, 68 hits, showing it didn't.
Massey behind in the count, 0-2. Michael Massey looking for his first hit with the bases loaded this season. Hasn't had a ton of opportunities in this spot, 0 for 3. Michael Massey has reached base safely in each of his last 23 ball games, but right now sitting on an 0 for 3 day. Hits a ground ball to second. Chance for 2. Glove flip over to 1. What a play with Green and Davidson in the middle of the infield.
Boy, this is how you get out of an inning right there. Pitcher's best friend, Green to Davidson.
Let's go to Los Angeles now. LMU trying to add to its 3-1 lead. The West Coast Conference champs taken on and right now taken down Baylor from the Big 12.
That one sails to the backstop. Crossed up Langoliers. And Delgado goes to third on a wild pitch.
Well, normally when you get crossed up, Rox, the catcher's going to run out there and talk to his pitcher. But in college, it counts as a trip when you go out there.
Runner at third now with 2 down. Caruso, the 1-1 to Chavez. 2-1. Caruso's pitch in the dirt. Nice job by Langoliers to block that one. 3-1 the count.
You're seeing why Shea Langoliers is one of the best in the country. Watch this. Watch how he blocks the ball. Textbook blocking. 2 legs going down. Makes his stomach a pillow.
Go to Morgantown now, where Duke with 2 on and nobody out. You see Rob Childress just scratching his head or his ear there as Joseph Menifee is now on the mound replacing John Doxakis for the Aggies.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. It's, Mr. Magoo, dude that couldn't see very well, needed big glasses. Kind of had a permanent squint.
Yes. So Moo Menifee is going to try to stop this Duke 8th inning. They've already added a run here. That's Maxwell batting in this spot, the pinch hitter for Crabtree, the DH. So they lift the left-handed batting Crabtree, bring in the right-handed bat of Rudy Maxwell off the bench, a freshman. Still nobody out here in the Duke 8th inning. That ball's roped to left by Maxwell, and how about that? A freshman off the bench, pinch hitting for Duke, launches a 3-run homer. It's 8-1 Blue Devils.
Wow. Chris Pollard pushing all the right buttons, sending up the freshman. Ball down and in. Absolutely crushed. Line shot. No doubter. That ball's out of everywhere except Yellowstone.
Yeah, well, a second home run to left for Duke today. The other one from Nichols came in the 4th. And Maxwell, whose primary position is catching. His coach has said he's got a violent swing. Well, he went violent on that swing and hit it out the left. And now Duke's sitting pretty with a 7-run lead here late.
And now you're looking at A&M, and they've got to be thinking right now about tomorrow. I mean, the game isn't over. Yes, they have, 6 outs to play with, see if they can come back. It's not impossible, but now you have to look at resources. You have to say, you know what, do I need to get this guy out of here so I can use him again tomorrow? It's a tough thing to do, but it's when you look at it, you got to look at the big picture whenever you're behind the rock like you are now.
Well, it's certainly hard to come out of the losers bracket in a regional, but Duke did it last year. They lost their first game of the Athens regional to Troy 6-0. Had to beat Campbell, had to beat Troy, then beat Georgia twice to make it to their first ever super regional. And that went down to the decisive game in Lubbock before they were eliminated. And there's the first out of the inning. So you get Shrek.
And we're seeing exactly what we talked about. They may be looking for Menifee to come back tomorrow.
I want to take you to Clemson right now, where Clemson has a 4-3 lead. We're in the top of the 7th.
Longtime big league player.
And nobody out and 2 on. Grayson Bird is at the plate. You see his father, Paul Bird, former big leaguer there on the shot.
College World Series. Currently in the Atlanta Braves TV network role, working as a reporter with them. New pitcher coming into the game for Illinois, Quentin Sefcik, will face Grayson Bird. Getting to the point of the game where you don't really want to dig the hole any deeper. Change in the action. We'll take a break as well. Top of the 7th, first and second, nobody out. Clemson up a run.
Quentin Sefcik.
While they do that, we will head back to Los Angeles. Baylor just trying to get something going here, down 2 in the 8th.
On a perfect changeup down and away.
Pitch number 100 for Cody Paiva. And Downey fights it off.
I really, really like what Downey's doing. Again, Downey has struck out a lot, but he inherently has turned himself into a leadoff hitter. He's leading off an inning. His job right now, I'm sure Steve Rodriguez said, any way you can get on. And he's turned into a leadoff hitter right there. Mentality. Shortened up the swing. Just trying to put the ball in play somehow.
Activity in the bullpen for LMU. 2-2. Downey. Another foul ball. Nick Frasso, second team all WCC, is up in the bullpen for LMU.
But you know what, Rox? I guarantee you that Baylor Bear dugout, if you ask them, they could care less who comes out of that bullpen. They want Paiva out of the game.
Anybody
but Paiva.
ABP. Anybody but Paiva. Battle here with Downey. Also up in the bullpen is CJ Fernandezes is up as well for LMU. 2-2 from Paiva. Strike 3 called outside edge of the knees. Downey caught looking, 5 strikeouts for Cody Paiva.
This is just painted on the outside part. Jeff Head, home plate umpire, said that's enough, young man, and there's out 1. And how about Paiva? He just told you, well, give me the ball back. Just throw it right back to me. Don't throw it around, just throw it right back to me.
Josh Bissonette climbs in. There's Paiva's day. Bissonette singled in the 5th. Takes ball 1.
I don't know, Rox. If Paiva gets out of this inning unscathed, he's going back out to the the 9th, isn't he?
He's thrown back-to-back complete games coming into this start. Just low to Josh Bissonette, and it's 2-0. Bissonette from the musically inclined family. His dad currently on tour as a bassist for Elton John. It's Elton John's final tour.
Really?
Yeah. I made it up. 2-0 pitch is driven by Bissonette. Left center field toward the alley. On the run and the catch. Kenny Oyama tracks it down. Two gone here in the last of the 8th.
Are you going to that Elton John concert?
I might.
No, you won't. You know you're not going.
It's the final tour. The end of the Yellow Brick Road.
Listen, you have told me about a lot of...
Grayson Bird had a single. There's